Hello, everyone. Welcome to the hypothetical edition of Coming Down. My name is Nathan. I'm here with Matthew.
Hi.
Shelby.
Hello.
Ricky.
Hello.
And wait, what's this? Special guest star Kimberly.
Hey.
Hell yeah, we got the full crew this time.
Yeah.
So, I always forget to do that, or I forgot last time to do this at the top, so I'll do the housekeeping stuff. If you enjoy this show and you like the hypothetical stuff, definitely tweet at us, email us, let us know your answers. We'll read them on here, or if you have questions you want us to ask, we'll also do that. So Twitter at comingdownpod, comingdownpod@gmail.com. Hit us up there. We would love to hear from you guys.
Absolutely.
So let's just jump into it. And as always, I'm the DM, so if anyone has any questions or clarification, I'll be the final ruling on the scenarios at hand, and sometimes throw some curveballs and we can mess around here. But I realized that we hadn't really done any of these like real classic hypotheticals, kind of these getting to know you hypotheticals, so I tossed everyone beforehand, what is your desert island album, but also book, but also movie? And I actually kind of like this because it makes it a little easier, takes a little pressure off of one or the other, you know,
right.
Like if you only get one album, like that's brutal, but maybe you get a movie too, so now you can split it up a little bit. So I'll just fire mine off first, and then I'll let you guys run wild.
Question, are we not going one? Are we just going full gamut when we share?
I don't know. Should we do album? Should we just do album talk first?
I think we should stick to like one topic first.
Okay, that sounds great.
Because people are going to talk about
discussion with this crowd about
that sounds great.
You know as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Then let's just start with the album. Mm-hmm. My pick is The Wall. Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Oh, good.
I was close to picking that.
Yeah, and the reason I picked it is because it's, you know, it's got a lot of different styles, and it's kind of this long narrative. It's also a long album, so you get a lot of use out of it. But it's also like a bit of a musical play also. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
you get to kind of experience, you get to double dip in genres a little bit as you burn out on this album over your years on the desert island.
It does span, not necessarily genres, but like, if you're in the mood for like a melancholy song,
right,
you have that. If you're in the mood for an uplifting song, you have that. If you're in the mood for the trial, you've got the motherfucking trial anytime you want it, you know?
Right, totally. You start dressing up palm trees as different characters.
Absolutely.
And start putting on full...
The possibility.
Good morning, Lamyana! You know, you can really feel into it.
Yep, totally.
Damn.
Yep, so... Yeah, and that's not my favorite album. It's not even my favorite Floyd album, but I think you get a lot of repeat use out of that, and that's sort of where I wanted to land.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a good choice.
What do you think, bud?
Man, so I have been hot about this one a lot, like thinking about different greatest hits albums,
right?
That
Smart
kind of thing.
compilations.
Yeah, and like, like multi-CD collection kind of things.
Yeah.
But I at the end of the day, I kind of felt like that was a cop-out, because the question is really, which album do you want to bring?
Yeah.
And, I mean, in this day and age, album is kind of an ephemeral thing, unless you're, like, real fucking musicians, like...
Yeah.
Seems like everybody's just doing singles
It
these
is
days.
single culture now.
But ultimately, what I came down on was Radiohead's In Rainbows.
Love it.
It's kind of a toss-up between that and OK Computer, but I decided that since In Rainbows is basically the second half of OK Computer, but they recorded it later in their career when they were more talented musicians with a greater range, that's what I landed on. Again, like you said, it's not my favorite album. It's probably my favorite Radiohead album, but it's kind of a toss-up with OK Computer and
I honestly think it's
Bends.
smart to not pick your favorite album.
yeah, fair.
Because, like...
Who wants to get sick of their favorite album?
Right. It's
Yeah.
going to be a huge bummer when that happens.
Yeah.
When
Right.
that happens, you know?
And I've definitely got like a list of like runner-ups if we want to go there, but like that's the album that I picked.
Nice. I love it. That's a great pick.
Thanks.
What do you think, Kimberly?
I don't know. Now, like, I'm thinking about it, and I was like, for sure, I'm gonna do this album, right? And I'm like,
I almost audible
I don't
too.
know.
I almost
I don't know.
audibled.
So I guess I went with my favorite just because it's instrumental, so it's just kind of one of those things that you can just go with in any sense of it.
Very smart.
I picked Russian Circle Station. That's my favorite
Nice.
band and album. So always gives me inspiration every time I fucking listen to it in a different form every time. So
Oh, yeah.
cool.
I feel like that's important when you're like, I need a fucking idea right now. I'm trying to build this fucking raft.
Yeah, right?
Do it, you know?
I love it. Oh yeah.
SOS and big rocks.
Exactly,
And
exactly.
Steam,
And
I
then-
need to get there.
And then when you are there, there's like a fucking epic breakdown, you know?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I
Seems
love
like
it.
a wonderful pig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that too because they're a real technical band, so you really can dive deep, and there's a
And
lot
I'm
to
assuming this
experience.
is being
Yeah.
like the question is raised like, so we're picking movies and albums. There's obviously some kind of listening thing, and like
Yeah, can
we're not
we
just hearing it
actually-
on an iPhone because
So-
like if you could really absorb all of those
Right.
nuances would be the best
How are we playing
Fair.
it? Because I actually
in any album.
Right.
have questions when it's my turn about this.
This is how. There's no explanation, but there is a power strip just coming out of the ground on the island. It has power. You don't know where it leads to. It doesn't seem to make any sense at all. You have a little portable DVD player and a little portable boombox,
Oof.
and like that's what you get. And you gotta listen
All
to
right.
it next to the power strip, and
right.
that's it.
So like either CD or cassette. Or
yeah,
Can I mean, if I'm worried about my CD getting scratched up from all the fucking sand on the goddamn island, like, is there an MP3
Look,
of this CD, like,
it-
in my boombox?
it's
Like, is it one of those boomboxes?
It's either an unscratchable CD or it's an MP3 player or whatever. It's unimportant. You have this album forever. Like don't worry about losing it.
Don't get lost in the
I mean, I was looking for a loophole. and
I was kind of hoping for earbuds, but that's.
I
cool.
wanted a record player on the album, and maybe I could listen to it on 45 speed if, like, I got real bored with it. But it sounds like maybe that's not an option.
I mean, I will also.
There's always ways to warp it.
I'll afford
There's
people.
always
Yeah, if you want headphones, like I'll afford you that. I don't
Can I
really
have a record
care.
player?
Sure, you can have a record player.
Sick. I have 2 albums now.
Rub the lamp and anything is yours.
Yeah, I mean, none of it makes sense why you'd be able to just listen to this album or watch this movie
Yeah.
over and over again on
Yeah.
this island. So whatever version
Yeah.
of that you want, I don't
Fair.
really care.
You've
It's good for
actually
me.
been dead the whole time.
Right?
Dude, this is totally reminding me of the show on Netflix that's like called The Island.
Oh, right.
It's actually really good. It's just one season. It's like 8 episodes or something, and that's just exactly what happens. Is
Well,
they
it's like
wake up on
Jersey
this-
Shore Lost, right?
No, I mean you totally
Oh,
get Lost
man.
vibes right at the beginning, but if you watch it to the end, it's kind of apocalyptic and like where our society's heading, and these like if we keep
Yeah.
going down the road that we're going.
I just heard all the characters were like
But it was-
awful.
Yeah, no, the acting fucking sucks, but the story is great, and this is
Okay.
reminding
The
me of that.
situation plays the smoke monster.
I was honestly hoping that she was gonna say that it was a show about people that had to bring like one of like all
Well, they
these
all woke up.
hypotheticals.
Well, they all woke up with an item, and it was
Oh.
like somebody had a giant conch. This other person had a knife. This other person had a tape player. This other person
Well,
had these things. A
So
book. or
those
whatever.
sound useful. I'm saying it would be hilarious if they made a movie of everyone like that picked their one album or whatever and woke up on a beach and then like checked in with them every like few years and like saw like how shitty their like fucking
Yep.
pick ended up being.
Why did I pick
Like,
very
how
special
crazy did
Christmas?
they get?
God damn it!
And just like, yeah, if someone threw their fucking CD into the sea like 1 year in, we're just like all live in silence. That's a show I would be willing to watch.
Dude, yeah, wait, what's that like continuation show, that documentary? It's like the 7 Up, 14 Up or whatever, but it's where they've been filming these people. It's like a documentary where they've been checking in on them over the years. I think they're up to like 56 up or whatever. Like all these people are 56 years old now, but they come in and check in with these people every 7 years and interview them
That's
and just kind of
cool.
see how their lives are
So
going.
like a casual Truman Show.
Well, right, yeah, totally. It's just like, you go to your life, we'll check in with you in 7 years, and like a couple of them have passed away now, so it's like getting a little heavier and whatnot, but
Wow.
but you just do that on a desert island setting, right? Like, we'll be back in 5 years, we'll see how you're faring.
Oh my god.
Okay. Oh, you sick of this
And-
album now? Oh, man.
You've made your own music.
I've covered this 12 times. Anyway.
Yeah, what do you think, Shelby?
So I went back and forth a lot on the album for a couple of reasons. One, because I don't tend to listen to full albums. So
Whatever.
not often, no. Not
You are
as,
kind of a mixed
I'm a mixed bag.
playlist person.
Yeah, I'm a playlist
usually you
person.
have like the radio on in the car, whereas like most of my friends tend not to put the radio.
Well, so when I was in high school, I listened to albums more often because what I had was a CD player, and I would just put in the CD and I'd hit play and I'd listen to the whole CD. And now, ever since I was 18 and got my first computer with iTunes, I've been a playlist person because I'll pick a mood and I'll be like, okay, this is my sad
That's
playlist.
such a Shelby thing. Like,
These are
You
songs
want
I want to
your-
listen to when I'm sad.
Yeah, I
These
love
are
this.
songs that remind me of the desert. Like,
Yeah.
These are all my beach tunes.
These are all my
Insert whatever
beach
ska
tunes.
album.
Like,
Do you have a driving to Medford?
I have several driving to Medford playlists. Yes, I do.
Of course
yeah.
you do.
And
I love it.
yeah, so it's been a while. I had to like kind of dig back into my like past. The other reason was I feel like I've kind of got two musical lives. Like I've got my like pre-Portland musical life where I'm like it's my dad's music a little bit, that I still
like classic
genuinely love. It's like
Yeah.
classic rock,
Totally.
And then when I kind of discovered my own music taste, it's like bluesy Americana. So I was like, well, which one of these do I pick? I went with Spectres by Blue Oyster Cult.
Nice.
That's a good
Cool.
one.
Because I think it's easier for me on a desert island to recreate folksy blues music in my head than it is to create screaming guitar solos.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Blue Oyster Cult. So
I mean,
chose...
you talk about Blue Oyster Cult fairly often, so I think it's a fair.
I love Blue
They're
Oyster
a fair
Cult.
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
super down with that.
They're
I
in
feel like they're a little
they're in
underrated.
my top 5
Nostalgic.
favorite artists anyway. Like,
Yeah.
if I was choosing top 5 favorites regardless of genre, Blue Oyster Cult is up there. And Spectres is an older album, and it's a lot of the songs tell stories, and a lot of them rely very heavily on, like, classic screaming rock and roll guitar, and... I feel like there's one that's like it tends to be a pretty motivational album. I'm like, I could listen to this on an island, Are You Ready to Rock is on there, and I'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah, I am.
Or fuck no.
Yeah.
Fuck my
You know what,
life.
Buck Dharma? You know what, Buck Dharma? I don't really
Comes
have
in
a
waves.
choice.
Right.
So yeah, let's build a fucking shelter. Spectres by Blue Oyster Cult is my pick.
I saw them play at the roller rink in Bend when I was in high school.
They are
Nice.
coming
was
to
amazing.
Portland in
What?
February. They're playing the Roseland.
Sounds like
Holy
we gotta
shit.
go.
I'm going.
Wait, Blue Oyster Cult's playing the Roseland?
Yes.
Wild.
That
Sounds
show's
like-
gonna be
That's
lit.
insane. That's
we should go.
cool.
Yeah, we
I'm
should go.
going.
We should go.
I
I
just
love
told my
Roseland.
dad about it. My dad is probably going to come up and go. I'm trying to get Mark and Matt to come. So
All right.
trip to the Rose, February
I mean-
15th.
I wonder
know
if they'll
that's
bring
3
their
days
fire breathing
before my
Godzilla.
birthday.
I don't think tickets will be expensive. They haven't released the price yet, but it's the Roseland, so I'm sure it will be a fairly reasonably priced show.
Oh,
and-
right. I was
Yeah.
getting it mixed up with the Wonder. I actually kind of hate the Roseland.
Yeah.
Well, everyone hates the
I
Roseland.
mean, I would
Yeah.
see a Blue Oyster Cult though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be worth it.
We only have a limited
Those
amount
dudes
of
are old,
time.
too.
They're like 70 years old.
Yeah.
This might be the last chance I get.
I'm gonna interject real quick. Speaking of in their 70s and being old, and it's all right. I mean, I'm not sure that started out wrong. Let me just rephrase. Listening to music already that you've heard your entire lifetime, and then also you're gonna listen to it again for the rest of your life like that,
Oh.
like. How much sooner are you going to get sick of that album than you would something that you fell in love with at a vulnerable time in your life that you have a lot of
Well, see,
connection
and that's a good
to,
question.
or like
That is a
something
good
newer that you
question.
really
Right.
identify with as who you are in
Which
that
was
moment,
honestly
or
the
what?
question that I asked myself a lot when I was
Yeah.
picking things, because I
Same.
went back and forth between like Blue Oyster Cult, or maybe Led Zeppelin or Pink Floyd. And
the thing is, like, you've
Deer
already
Tick
gone-
came up a lot for me.
I already find Led Zeppelin annoying sometimes.
You've already gone through so many like emotional changes through it, and the thing is, like, you won't stop doing that.
Oh, yeah.
In the next
Yeah.
40 years
Oh,
on
yeah.
the island, or
Right.
however long you last,
Yeah.
like, you're gonna go through, like, oh man, what was? Cut this out if it's stupid, but there is a there was
We don't
a
cut
thing. It was like a video or something that guy did. I'm hoping that you'll remember this as I explain it to you, where he listened to the same. I don't know. It was maybe a pop song, maybe even like a Taylor Swift or something song, and he like listened to it for like 72 hours straight or something like that, and he kept like checking in with like his views on the song. Maybe it wasn't even a video,
Yeah.
it might have just been an article, but he was like going through his interpretations of the song like as like upon every
Like
listen.
live tweeting it.
Basically,
And
is
it ended up
the
growing
vibe
on
of
him?
it. Well, so that sounds so simple and easy, but what actually happened was so much more complex. He like went through all sorts of phases of like weird Stockholm syndrome with it, and then like feeling like it was like weirdly transcendental, and then it was like shaping like the way music is created, and then going through like extreme loathing and wanting to like actually cause physical harm to himself because of how shitty it was, but then like coming back around. I mean, like it was insane what happened.
I think
So
that's
it's
pretty much
gonna
what pop
happen.
does to me all
Yeah, I
the
was gonna say,
time.
I feel that every time I
Right.
listen to Taylor Swift.
It's those subliminal messages that really break through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe that was an AV Club writer, and
Okay.
and they wrote an article probably 5 years ago or something. I'll see if I can
Find it for the
Yeah.
show notes, 'cause,
I'll
like,
bust
it
out
was
my Google feed.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It was
Find
so
that. Yeah.
poignant for our situation right now.
Similar.
I would rickroll myself for 72 hours for science.
Oh man, yeah, right. Similarly,
Anything for
there's that
science.
podcast of those guys who watched Sex and the City 2 every week for a year
Whoa.
and podcast about it. And, you know, it's like by the 30th time they've seen it, they start getting really weird about it. It's called Worst Idea Ever.
Yes, they
sounds
also
great.
do. I think their first season is Paul Blart Mall. Paul Blart
Blar, blar, blar.
Blah, 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 blah. You
Yeah,
know what
Paul
it is.
Blart, Mall
That's what I
Blart.
call it.
Yeah, Paul Blart, Mall Blart.
Yeah.
I think because Mark got really into that one.
Yeah.
Like the last year or two that we were dating.
Are you
And
like really reading into Paul Blart?
just
like
lean, yes.
this
they're like
actually is really
And I don't
deep.
remember.
Well, they did the
on
second one,
point.
right?
I don't remember if it was one or two.
Because apparently the second one's really dark in like a weird Paul Blart way. But
Yeah. I don't remember.
Paul
what
Blart
it
Mall
was.
Dark.
yeah.
Paul Blart, Dark Blart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Into the blur.
Possibilities are
Into
endless.
Mark got really into that podcast, and I'm pretty sure the one that he listened to was Paul Blart Mall Blart for like weeks and weeks.
We haven't said it right.
The Blart Knight returns. Okay. Wait. All right, Ricky, give us your album. We've got
Save
we've
us
got
from
much more to
this
talk about.
abyss.
Okay. So I too had a lot of issues. Actually, of the 3 things that we had to choose, this was the hardest for me.
Yeah.
So I decided to, you know, trust my trusty friend Spotify to like help me realize what my true love is. So I didn't recently. I did my year end thing that like Spotify's like, this is the stuff you loved this year, and like mine's absolutely unshareable because for whatever reason I spent, I want to say, 63 hours listening to my pick for the desert island, which is the Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone soundtrack by John Williams.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Okay, so I tried to use my Spotify, and mine was for 2 years in a row now. My top pick on Spotify for the year is Hamilton, the Broadway musical.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I thought
about
about it.
choosing
I was
Hamilton.
like, I could do this as my desert island.
Right.
And I was like, I can't. I'll go crazy. It will be stuck in my head forever.
Right.
Continue. I just thought it was funny. You kind of went through the same journey I did.
Yeah, so no, it was so funny seeing that because I've listened to it a ton just on repeat at work. I just went through this weird like obsession / renaissance with like listening to fucking classical at work, or not. It's not even classical. It's symphonic works. It's not classical. I used to call classical anything that's symphonic. So yeah, I happened to listen to it a ton this year on a weird obsessive whim, but I really think it would be a good choice for the desert island because John Williams is my absolute goddamn hero.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I could choose a million soundtracks. Okay, he hasn't done a million. I could choose like most of the soundtracks that he has done and be well off because he has a way of creating themes for characters and then telling like the entire story of the movie through weaving the themes in with themes of things that happen. Like Star Wars is a really good example. Like, I mean, you can tell each character that's involved in each song and like the feeling.
Well, you're
of
almost
what they're
having
doing
another
in every
movie
song.
in
like,
your head. So like with especially with a soundtrack,
it's masterful.
it's just adding to the movie.
Yeah, you get to envision the movie.
If you
as
just
go
listen
through
to
it.
the
Exactly.
soundtrack, you can absolutely just like see, even if you haven't seen the movie, you can see like at least like the emotion and just the feeling that's behind what he's doing. And like the Harry Potter soundtrack specifically, like, so I have gone through some of those like weird things once you listen to something for 63 hours. And like listening to the individual instruments in like, even take the prologue, even like the very first song, the shit that they make some of those instruments do is absolutely batshit, you guys. Like those fucking flutes are like working their asses off. It is insane how intricate this fucking soundtrack is. And like Harry Potter, I like the book series, and like the movies have been fine. Like it sounds like such a weird, like almost childish thing to pick, but the actual score that John Williams wrote for that movie is absolutely fucking breathtaking. And now that I've like become familiar with it, I feel like I could listen to it till the end of time.
Nice.
And going on your track, sorry, I'm gesturing. Going along Kimberly's track, I agree with, like, I don't want fucking lyrics. I want absolute instruments, because, like, I can't start, like, loathing instruments like I can, like, the sound of someone's voice.
Fair.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I really think it'd just be a poor move for me.
Like, stop telling me what to do.
Stop
telling me how to feel.
So anyway, yeah.
I'm so about lyrics, it never would have crossed my mind to pick something that was purely instrumental. Like, I need someone to, like, cheerlead me through or sympathize with me through, like, this ordeal, you know? And I honestly did kind of go back and forth between choosing the Hamilton soundtrack, because, like, I listen
Soundtracks,
to it
man, they're
a lot.
They do a lot for you,
and it's a Broadway musical. It tells the whole story. It's great. And like,
but Hamilton has
lyrics. Yeah, it's hip.
There's no way.
Yeah,
no. See, I definitely disagree with you on the like pro lyrics.
I'm so pro lyrics. I want music.
I'm not opposed to lyrics. Like,
yeah.
I love
I love
singing. I love lyrics. But
one album on a fucking desert island for the rest of time, presumably. No, dude, I can't pick one. That's like.
Still like the idea that you get into those lyrics and start deconstructing them and start building your own little like opera.
Start wondering if words are real.
Yeah.
Real quick, can I do my runners up?
Yeah.
So, I also thought about doing Beethoven's Ninth Symphony.
Beautiful. Yeah. I was thinking along like actual classical lines at first.
This length of the CD was chosen to fit the symphony in its entirety, so you would get the maximum amount of music that you could possibly get out of a CD that way.
There you go.
Wow, what a brilliant. If you are, that's why, he had the same question maybe of like what we're listening on.
Yeah, technically the wall is 2 CDs.
Right.
So,
but I also the Ode to Joy part of that symphony like moves me to tears.
You've
every
talked
time I
about
hear
that
it.
before.
So,
I've heard you talk about that before.
So I mean, like
Hell
that would be cool, but I also didn't want to burn out on that.
Yeah.
And then DJ Shadow's Introducing, because I thought also like instrumental stuff would be pretty key, but eventually I was like, well, I like to sing, so let's split the difference.
Right.
And then Talking Heads stopped making sense, because
that'd be a good one.
it's an album I grew up on.
I love Talking Heads.
Also just an amazing album. So
good.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are the runners up.
Yeah, I was considering genre spanning stuff too, so that I didn't get tired. So yeah, soundtracks, but there's no soundtrack that I can think of that I love every song on, right? Like,
How many of you listened?
Maybe
I mean, a lot.
Maybe like a Tarantino soundtrack.
Yeah, I
but
considered Pulp Fiction, but
they're
that's a
also
lot
kind
of
of
surf.
niche. Yeah.
And then
Are you bitching about surf right now?
I'm not bitching about it. I'm just saying I don't know if I just want surf only.
I mean, on an
you're
island,
too literal.
You're surrounded by
that
ocean.
might
It
bum
might
me
be
out.
great.
No, and then like, I mean. So I love the Wayne's World soundtrack.
Yeah.
Dude,
There's a couple
yes!
tracks that I don't love.
Yes!
Chili
Sick
Peppers
Nico
song.
is like talking about
Sikamika
yeah,
or whatever
exactly.
that song is.
those guys
Yeah.
earlier.
Yep.
No, so yeah, no, I actually hate the Bullet Boys song on that album.
I don't even remember it.
It's called like something Rhino. Something, I don't know.
Oh
Anyway,
yeah, I have that soundtrack on cassette tape.
I also
so.
really love the Austin Powers soundtrack.
That's a great
International
soundtrack.
History.
Yeah,
specifically.
OG. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot
Dang, I
of
haven't seen
like
Austin Powers in a
60s stuff.
minute.
Yeah,
It used
that's
to be
not a
one of
great
my
soundtrack.
favorite movies
Dude,
when
you
I was
can't
like
go wrong.
13.
It's like quintessential. Okay.
Oh god, I was so obsessed with it.
Quintessential.
Well, you know what's
Austin
funny
Powers
is that's
when
an
I was 13.
okay movie to watch when you're 13 because a lot
Right.
of this dirty jokes are subtle enough that you're not going to get it.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Or
pretty
if
much
you
anything
do,
from my
it's
childhood.
because
If you do, it's because your dads have already let you watch
Also,
movies.
it turns out if you watch those movies again, Shelby, all of the jokes are for
All of them.
13-year-olds.
Super.
It doesn't
Yeah.
actually like
Yeah,
age
no.
well for adults.
It's-
They're all
They're
13-year-old
all
jokes.
goofy. They're goofy.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I mean,
Foxy Cleopatra, though.
Makes sense.
I needed something that I know that I love everything on it. So
Mm-hmm.
I also considered like, yeah, but again, the live album's like a cop out. I was like, can I just do Ween live at Stubbs? It's fucking
Fuck,
2.5
right.
hours long.
Oh, I hate live albums.
Yeah.
Like a 45-minute LMLYP.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Stubbs is such a good fucking
Yeah.
live album.
Well, I thought about going with Ween too, but like, ugh,
right, yeah,
what do you pick then? And
Right.
like that just becomes a whole thing.
becomes the whole thing for sure. All right, so let's move on to books. So I did cop out on books and pick the Tao Te Ching because, like, look, man, I don't want to just read a novel over and over again. I want something inspirational, something that I can just kind of pick up and that will resonate with me for presumably the rest of my life because I'm not getting off this island. So yeah, I just get to fucking look at this thing every day and reflect on it, and it will change as I get
It's a cool
older.
pick.
And you know,
Yeah.
feels like a little bit of a
I
cop
hate
out,
it.
but also like
Ancient words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard to go wrong with that.
exactly right.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's easy for me. Also, I don't know if I love any novels enough that I'm just like, yeah, I'd like to read this story over and over again.
Right.
I actually considered Fellowship of the Ring because I quit reading that book because I hated all the songs, but I'm like, well, but then I'm double dipping again. Like, if I pick that book,
Right.
then I get song lyrics that I
Yeah.
can start crafting songs.
Now you're
You're like,
writing a second album for the
Yeah.
island, you know, you're
Yeah.
ready to
now
go.
I got all these dumb little Hobbit songs that I'm singing. Fucking
Wow. A lot of dwarven songs too.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I didn't even make it to those because I couldn't get past all the Hobbit songs.
Love it. Should we switch the order around?
Oh,
or do you
sure.
wanna- okay.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, here we'll serpentine it.
Serpentine
We,
time.
we don't have to if that's putting you on
No,
the spot.
does
but-
no matter.
I'm ready. So my pick. Okay, to preface my pick and to compare it with what you were saying, I'm a person who absolutely loves rewatching and rereading things because I actually have like, I guess, overarching a shitty memory. I have a really good memory for very certain circumstances of information applied in a very specific way, and when it is provided in that way, I have a very great memory. Overall, it's fucking garbage, and I gain so much enjoyment out of rewatching things that I can, like, remember most of, but, like, pull new details out of every time
Sure.
I do. So, like, I'm not worried about reading a novel for, like, the rest of eternity. What I have picked, though, is The Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, I almost did
Which
this
is
one too.
5 complete novels and 1 story
Yep.
by Douglas Adams. So technically, I have 5 not super long. It's not like they're expanse-sized books, but like I've got 5 fucking books and a short story all in 1 book, so it counts as a book.
I agree.
Yeah,
And-
I'm not the DM, but I'm willing to allow it.
I almost.
And I own it in 1 fucking book form, so I'll just take
Yeah.
that book to the
I have
island.
the same
and it's
one!
fine. It's amazing.
I have that
absolutely
same
love it.
one, and I tell you
I'm
that
like-
was gonna be mine.
Hey,
I
no, that's good. I almost picked it as well, and then I will allow it as the DM, but I did consider, I was like, well, it is 5 books, and so I sort of hemmed and hawed on it. I will totally allow it, though.
Yeah.
That was
I'm
gonna be
just
one of
saying,
the questions.
you can only
It's short
take
form.
Is that
1
gonna
book
be
to
allowed?
the island.
Yeah.
It's like serious.
So if you find
If
out
it's a
that
collection
the whole
of
thing
one
you
word.
like is in an omnibus, I can still
if you
take
can argue
1
for
book
it.
I
to
agree.
the island.
I agree. Yeah, I allow
Seems reasonable.
it. You can't fit...
I would fight you on it if you didn't.
to the death.
You can fit it in 1 book. I mean,
It's 1 book. I'm only taking 1 goddamn
if you
book to
can
the
fit it
island.
into 1 book, I'm good. You can't fit, like, all the Expanse novels into 1 book.
It's
We've
not
tried.
in
You
an
just can't.
omnibus
It's
yet.
impossible.
They haven't done it yet.
Well, they wouldn't, because the omnibus would be 3 feet tall. Like, you couldn't do it. Or
What
not
if you
3
brought
feet
your
tall, but-
if it doesn't matter what you're having these things on? What if you brought your Kindle?
Nope. Nope. Because nope.
See,
It's gotta
no,
be a
you're
book.
DM. That's fine. Well,
Yep.
my book's right there on the bookshelf, 10 feet away.
Throw it in the
So
duffel.
I'm going to use that. And yeah, for anyone who has not read any Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books, please do. It's
Yep.
the most heartwarming, hysterical, batshit,
Yep.
Yeah.
fantastical story I've ever read in my life.
It holds up.
And yeah, like I don't think I'd ever get bored of it. I
Yeah,
really
you can
don't.
you can get a lot of repeats on that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Shelby, what's your book?
I chose Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
We knew
Yeah.
you.
Fellowship.
I'm going with a 3-book anthology, but if I
Oh,
have
man,
to pick
see.
one of the 3,
Can they fit them all into one
yes,
book?
and I have
with
2
one
copies
spine?
of it. Yep.
All right,
Bible
I'll-
pages, homie.
I'll allow
Bible
it.
pages.
I'll allow it.
No. I have a very old copy that it was my copy I read in middle school, multiple times. And I still kept it. It is duct taped together, but it is one book.
All right.
But it's 1,008 pages.
Okay.
Is that all? Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. right?
Of the story, the book itself is bigger, but it includes probably about 150 to 200 pages of appendices because
Right.
it's Tolkien, so fucking of course it does.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's got a lot to
nice.
say.
He's got a lot to say. And
teach you
but
what
the
all these
actual
words mean.
story itself,
Right.
depending on the version you get, is about 1,008 pages
Okay.
from beginning to end of the actual novels. Because they're not actually that thick of books. He was going to publish them as one, and his publishers were like, "No, you can make more money
Yeah.
if you publish them as 3 separate books." Because
Weren't
you're
they initially published as 6 books and then condensed
Right.
down to 3?
Yes, because they the Hobbit had been pretty successful, and they were like, okay, this is a lot, so like let's break
Jesus,
them
if
up
they
into
split
smaller
Fellowship
books.
into 2, how did anyone ever fucking read the second one, dude?
That is a very good
It's
question.
just like, cool, one book of songs.
And walking.
Yeah.
Don't forget the walking.
Oh yeah, there's some walking.
There's a lot of walking in the Fellowship. Yeah. Every time I say this, I'm like, diehard Tolkien fans would like hang me up at my toes, but it's true. If you've never read the books before, read The Hobbit, and then read like the first chapter or 2 of the Fellowship, and then skip ahead until Rivendell, and
Yeah,
then
that's
finish
legit.
the
But
rest
then you
of the
miss all the
books.
Tom Bombadil stuff, which
Right.
is really like
It is very good,
some good
but there's a
stuff.
lot. But it's also mostly songs.
He's also a bunch of
and
songs.
it's a lot of
Yep.
walking, and it's a lot of history, and also it's a huge like offshoot because you never see this character
Yeah,
again.
none of it furthers the plot.
never-
it's just a
it doesn't
microcosm of the
matter.
themes.
Yes, so like finish the book, and then if you like it, reread it with the Tom Bombadil chapters.
Yeah.
Have they made any of those cassettes where you can like put in the cassette and when you get to the certain part in the book, it's like play cassette green, and then like it'll play the songs for
Oh,
you while you
probably.
read them. Like
That'd be
and
amazing.
someone,
Surely
if
someone's
this
done
hasn't
that.
Yeah.
happened yet, see, I feel like that would be like a huge step up for
I
the
chose
songs.
Lord of the Rings because it's so long that by the time you get to the end, you can go back to the beginning and start over, and it's been a while since you've read it, so it's new again.
Yeah.
And I've read that book. I stopped counting at 12 times from
Nice.
having read Lord of the Rings, and
Damn.
I'm trying to
Pre-Island.
pre-Island,
Whoa.
pre-high school. I read it like 12 times in middle school.
Holy shit.
So 24
Again,
times.
Why I did
pre-Island.
not wear my headgear to school in middle school because cards were already stacked against me, and but I read it about once a year. And it's been a couple years since I've read it, but I try and read it about once a year, and it
Nice.
usually takes about a year to read. So like by the time you finish, it's been a year, and you can just start back over again if you wanted to. I did go back and forth with this one a lot because I'm also a rereader, and I have like a shelf on my bookshelf in my house that's like my favorite books that I reread on a semi-regular basis. Lord of the Rings is the thickest one, so that's the one I picked.
There you go.
Rad.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
I like it.
Watership
Super smart.
Down was a close second.
Ooh, that's a bleak ass book to read over and over
It is a
again.
great book. It's so good. It's like Redwall for adults.
Yeah.
And Fahrenheit 451 was
Oh, yeah.
was a close third, probably.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. That'd be
Yeah.
alright. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, you guys. I don't know. This is hard. I have not like read tons of series. I haven't delved into a lot of existential books.
Yeah.
I've always been like historically a lighter reader, you know?
Hey.
So I chose a book that I read fairly recently that I really enjoyed, and
Dude.
there's like...
Goosebumps are still good books.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Dude, we did during Halloween we hella watched the show, and it was great. Okay, it was very nostalgic for me. No, but I chose a book by this guy named Eric Davis. It's called A Good and Useful Hurt, and it's not that long. It's a novel, you know, but it has everything in it that you would want. Like, it has like really gripping storyline that you can relate to in one way or another. It paints a scene for me personally that I can visualize very tangibly from a life maybe I can imagine myself in when I'm on a fucking desert island, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good
It just
point.
has adventure, it has sci-fi elements to it, it has ghost stories, and it just like has so many different blends of things that work really well together, and I love it.
Nice.
So, and I looked it up because it was only an ebook, and so I looked it up, and he released it on paperback, so I ordered myself a
Sweet.
Oh, nice.
So I'm waiting.
Happy ending.
We can't go on this adventure until I have my book. Oh, I
right.
have Prime though, so it shouldn't take long.
Love it.
Enjoy it while you have it.
Right. So yeah, I definitely thought about Hitchhiker's Guide.
As you do.
You know, like, because that would be amazing, obviously.
It's the Bible, basically.
Right.
That's how I treated it.
Absolutely.
I also thought about Stephen King's The Stand,
Oh, good book.
Yeah, it's a
Good
long
book.
ass book.
Yeah, that's
especially
a
the
long
unabridged
ass book.
version. Yeah.
I remember my mom's hardcover being on the shelf because she's a huge Stephen King fan when I was like a young kid. It was like the most massive goddamn
Yeah.
Just a
hardcover
tome,
on. Yeah,
over
it's
1,000
like
pages.
like they could have they made
So
the
intimidating.
fucking spine font like
Yeah.
72 fucking point, dude. It was fucking huge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I
Yep.
thought about The Stand too because before its sheer thickness. Like, what's the thickest fucking book
Right.
I can bring?
Exactly.
Substantial.
Yeah.
And I also thought about like Snow Crash, just because that was a book that I read over and over a lot when I was younger. But the tech is like really far off from today now, so it
Yeah.
doesn't quite have the same rereadability that it once did. However, in that same vein, I reread William Gibson about like once every 3 to 5 years, and I'm currently like right at the end of reading all of his books all over again, and he's
Nice.
going to have his next book coming out in January. So
Nice.
I realized that if I had to pick one book that I would read over and over, I already have one, and it's Neuromancer.
Yeah, nice.
I feel like it's the most encapsulated one of his stories. It's got a little bit of everything. Like, it's got space stuff. It's got the Rastafarian army. It's got fucking, Razor Girls and fucking Deckers and cool tech. It's just
Hell yeah.
weird drugs, sex. It's got it all.
Hell yeah.
So that would be my pick.
Dope. Yeah, I considered Dune also because it's just
Ooh.
like it's a really dense
choice.
book.
That is a fucking good one. Yeah.
And it's like it's so dense, and you could get through it so many times, with still like picking up new little things and subtle things.
Oh yeah.
I also thought about other very dense things. I even considered books I've never read, like, I should just get whatever like David Foster Wallace's most like dense fucking book is,
Oh yeah.
And
What's
just
it?
like
Infinite Jest.
yeah, Infinite Jest. Yeah,
That
that's
one would
it.
hold
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like,
Damn,
well, if I
that's
got
actually
the
so smart.
if I got
Just
the next
like-
50 years to just read this book, I guess I can
Like,
just
figure it
analyze
out.
it and
It's a good book too.
figure it out or whatever.
I honestly don't understand why it's like supposedly so fucking hard to read. It's just time consuming.
Yeah, I mean, I considered other, like, I've never read War and Peace, but I know it's like a really dense, huge book that would
Yeah,
take forever.
with
and
hundreds
you
of
could just, like-
characters.
The shitty thing
Yeah.
is you don't
Oh
have
god,
access,
Illuminatus trilogy, dude.
Nice.
It's like
Okay.
some Robert Anton
No.
Wilson, dude.
That's a good one.
but you don't have access to the internet or like a dictionary or anything.
No, that's true.
So like,
Yeah, you just gotta.
if you don't know what something
Yeah.
means or what it's
Yeah.
referencing, you literally
Yep,
that's it.
I've got my own
fucking
definition. Yep,
Context reading, and that's it.
yeah, for
Oh,
real.
man. I like Dune though. It's a good pick.
Dune's a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
pick.
Dune would be all right. Yeah, that one you could get a ton of repeat action out of. All right, so I'll kick us off, and then we'll go back the other way. So my movie. Oh man, see, it's so tough.
Yeah, this was a hard one.
Yeah. Okay, so much in the double dip vein, I went with Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh my god, that is
Nice.
my movie!
Is it really?
I love you.
Yes.
I love you.
Kindred
That's my
Spirits.
That is
So
That's my
good.
favorite movie.
Holy
Because
shit,
I also
it's
get a bunch of
so
songs.
good.
Yeah, true.
I never get sick of it.
My mom and I sang the soundtrack in the
Oh, yeah.
car, like full blast,
belting
for, like,
it out.
It's a great
a couple
soundtrack.
years straight.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
man.
Oh, that soundtrack fucking rules.
And like heart every character in that like actor too. Like I feel like
Yep.
they just it was so well
Oh my
cast.
God.
Yeah, every part of that
and
movie
the
is
color
perfect.
palette,
It's amazing.
down to
Yeah.
the
Yes.
color palette is
The
like
vernacular that they
fucking-
use. It's
I don't know
Jesus
if Matt's
Christ,
ever
it's
seen it.
fucking.
well, and it's based on the
know.
Odyssey, so you have
Spectacular.
all of that reference to extrapolate from the story too. And
Yeah.
Yep.
Is you ain't my constituency.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, we're on a tight spot. Oh man, we're in a tight spot.
Yep.
My hair.
Dude, and we both use all the time. Damn, is this a geographical oddity?
Goddamn geographical oddity.
2 weeks for everywhere.
Well, I'm a barber, so I'm always like Dapper Dan. You know,
Yeah,
come on,
right?
it's always a reference. You know.
Yeah,
Dan, man.
Dapper Dan, man.
Yep.
No one
Don't want no
goddamn
fop.
I've taught you well.
Yeah. I mean,
I could say you're quoting this movie all the time.
Oh yeah, like we've started down the
So
rabbit hole right now.
much.
infinitely quotable, and then she's
Exactly.
got all the
Yeah.
good songs, so I
Yeah.
get a double dip.
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
I
cool,
love
I get
it.
You got
another
to
like
listen to this.
album
You got another
in there.
album.
Hell yeah.
You got 3 albums now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Well,
You have an album, you have a written album of songs from your book, and now you have another soundtrack album.
I
from
went
your
with the
movie.
Dao De Ching, which is not music, but
Right.
Oh, you did. Sorry, you did not. pick
the Wall
Lord of the
is sort
Rings.
of a
You picked
movie.
It is.
It's
Yeah,
sort of
that's
a
what I was
movie
gonna
in my
say,
mind.
yeah.
It's sort of
it's
a
a
play.
rock opera.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, I'm really just maximizing my picks here. See, none of these would probably be my picks if I only got one of any of them.
Right.
You know, if it's just like I'm limited to one book, movie, or album. Like I don't know if any of these are my picks.
Sure.
Maybe Oh Brother still is, but
Love it. Such a good
yeah,
pick.
yeah.
That
fucking-
becomes harder, though.
yeah, it gets way harder. That's why I wanted to do it like this, because then you get to play around a little bit and
Yeah.
you know have a little more of a sandbox. But
Hell yeah.
But yeah,
I
fucking
love
Oh
that
Brother,
you
dude.
think that. I still didn't do it that way. I didn't even consider them like together as a unit.
Gotta think
I
inside
just-
the box.
Right.
Yeah, I just thought of them
Something.
individually.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh man, I had a really hard time with this one because there's a lot of movies that I really like, and for completely different reasons.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it kind of made sense to me to pick a comedy because then I've got something that'll cheer me up and make me laugh.
Yeah. And comedies are typically the most quotable, and you can just sort of repeat view them forever.
Sure, but I also like kind of feel like I can just replay those jokes in my head already,
Sure.
and I kind of want something that's maybe a bit more of a visual feast. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, and I thought about like some Taika Waititi like Marvel movies because those are kind of like a good blend of comedy and action.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I decided to cop out and just pick the movie that I've always said is my favorite fucking movie with a slight spin, and that is Empire Strikes Back. But it is the Star Wars Revisited version, which is a fan who has incredible skills taking the special edition Blu-ray version, editing out all of the garbage CG that he put in,
There you go.
redoing a bunch of the matte shots. He even filmed new scenes in like the B-Wings for Return of the Jedi, and like he refilmed the Wampa cave scene because they used like 3 different costumes and puppets for the final edit of that, and he was like, this is fucking garbage.
Whoa.
So he also
Damn.
redid the star maps behind all the pilots because there weren't enough stars in them, and now you can see like X-Wings flying by and like fucking
Holy
laser
fuck.
blasts and shit. It's amazing. Like if you go through the list of changes that he made, it's staggering. There's hundreds.
And they like hold up. They're like well done.
You won't know that they're
It's his
there.
movie.
That's how good they are. It's like you feel like you're just watching Empire Strikes Back, but if you
Holy
compare
fuck.
it like shot to shot, it's like, oh man, this is just so much fucking better. You know?
Nice.
It's
Damn.
it's
awesome.
sick. So yeah.
That's impressive. Like, I definitely check. Is it a YouTube
Um,
accessible thing? Is it
I
something
want to
different?
say that it is, but I can always just give it to you guys on a thumb drive.
I was gonna say, like, if the
'Cause
dude
I'd be
took all the
interested to check that
time, I'd love to just get like a really giant HD file.
right.
That's a good
Because like when Force Awakens came out, and we were like, okay, we gotta watch all the Star Wars. It's like, well, I'm not watching these fucking re-Lucased
No,
versions.
they're
So
bad.
I went online and I found Laserdisc rips,
Yeah.
4K, like up-res
Yep.
HD Laserdisc rips of the old school ones.
Hell
And they're
yeah.
like 4 gigs a piece or whatever, you know?
Yep.
I don't even remember what like file format they're on.
The definitive edition.
But yeah, but it was sick, dude, watching those. It's like, oh yeah, Star Wars as I remember it, without
yeah.
all this fucking Lucas-fied bullshit, dude.
The theatrical release is the way to
Yeah.
go, or
Yeah.
something like you.
But I'd also be interested in this, like, rehashed thing.
It's
like,
great.
Like, what if Lucas did fuck with it, but, you know, did all the shit right?
yeah.
But
I still haven't watched any of the Topher cuts yet, too. Like, because Topher recut the
prequels.
and the original trilogy.
Oh, cool.
Into one good movie.
oh, that's right.
Because that's sort of my opinion. I mean, there's 8 movies. There's 8 official Star Wars movies out, and I think there's about 2 movies worth of good shit. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe 2.5. You know.
Some of the beats in Return of the Jedi are also like kind of weak. Like some of the comedic beats and stuff. It's like,
oh, dude,
you're in the middle of a fucking war with stormtroopers. Why are you like doing comedy?
I
shit,
don't like
you know?
most of Return
like
of
all
the
the
Jedi.
slapstick stuff.
Yeah, and the Ewok shit, man. I don't really care for
You're
it.
supposed to be fucking Wookiees. Come on.
Yeah.
Give us cash.
Yeah,
man.
I don't care.
I don't mind
care
the
for most of it.
Ewoks. They're like just there. I don't
fine.
understand why people hate the Ewoks. There's like they're like a non-issue.
Don't get me wrong, I don't hate them. I just feel like we got cheated out of like seeing some cool Wookiee shit just because
Sure.
they wanted to sell teddy bears.
All right, yeah,
yeah.
I guess that's true. I mean, Wookiees are just big teddy bears.
Yeah, for sure.
They're just tall teddy bears.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my god, so many things with that. But I mean, credit to Lucas though, because the studios did not realize that was where the money was at. And because when he made the first Star Wars, they're like, "Cool, this is a cool movie. We'll put this out." And he was like, "Cool, I want all the toy rights," and they
Right.
gave them to him. And then that's how he funded the other movies.
Exactly.
Because he just marketed the shit out of it and sold a shit ton of toys, and then funded his own movies from there on. So,
Yep.
like, you know, credit to that.
Oh, for sure. You know, but I mean, like, you got to draw a line somewhere between like making a toy commercial disguised as a movie and like
I
making
actually
a real
don't
movie.
think.
You know,
I
I
agree.
don't think the Ewoks are that bad. They're fine.
I'm not.
They make as much sense as anything else.
I'm
in the
not throwing
Star
shade at
Wars
the Ewoks.
universe.
Please do not hear me throwing shade
I'm
at the
hearing you
Ewoks.
throwing shade at the Ewoks, and
I'll
don't
throw a
really,
little shade at
I
the
don't
Ewoks.
really care.
They're no
personally.
Gungans, but they're fine. You know, they're
mean-
fine. I don't know.
I mean-
There's so
What the
many.
fuck did
I'm not,
Ewoks do
I'm not trying to start a Star Wars fight here.
Exactly.
Nothing.
Sit
They're
there
just-
and be like pretty fucking cute.
Yeah.
They're
and,
just
like,
being cute and
Jesus.
practicing their ritualistic human sacrifice and like minding their own business.
That's true.
Look,
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what? Say what you want about them being adorable, but you know what? The Empire underestimated them, and that was their undoing, and that was their own.
That's why
fault.
everybody hates. Subliminal.
Right? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Anyway,
I won't wax on about that.
That's-
We'll have a whole nother Star
So
Wars
we just
cast.
rewatched all the original series because we're trying to rewatch all the Star Wars movies.
Oh yeah, before you
the
don't
new
get to come
ones.
see it on Thursday.
yeah,
We're
right.
going. We're going in February.
Are you?
Yeah.
Did you
Nice.
get tickets?
We got
already?
tickets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt got tickets.
That was just a shade on Matt.
I mean, fair.
Shade on Matt.
Super fair. I
Yeah.
ran the dates by him like several times. I was like, "Are you sure? We're good. We're good on these dates. We're going home on these dates." And he was like, "Yeah, Star Wars is the 13th." And I was like, "Great."
Nope.
Nope.
So yeah. So we just rewatched the original series, and to be fair, I had had several glasses of wine, and I think I fell asleep at the very end of whatever the last one is,
Yeah, Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
but
good.
I was
You missed
still
all
like,
the Ewok shit.
no, I fell asleep in the middle of the Ewok shit, but I've seen it multiple times, and I'm still like, yeah, okay, this makes sense. The Empires would be taken down by like the cutest things in the galaxy, except for Baby Yoda, because like they're gonna underestimate all of them. They're gonna be like, whatever, these are little teddy bears running out in the forest. They're savages. It's a metaphor.
Right?
I have a theory that
Love it.
everybody's just going to try to interject Baby Yoda into every conversation now. I mean, that's my end
I
game.
mean, to be fair.
I mean, Baby Yoda snuck in at the end, but pretty much won 2019.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
He easily this year was a garbage year, but like easily the best thing to come out of it. was
Oh, yeah.
Baby
but there's
Yoda.
Baby Yoda there for all of us. So okay, so if you
Free
were
Claude
gonna
hand.
pick Oh Brother,
Yes.
what would be your audible second pick? Which you can just take Oh Brother and we can just talk about it again for another 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any more reason to pick that
Yeah.
because it's amazing, and
Yeah.
if you've seen it, you know that.
Right.
I've always said that another one of my favorite movies has been Tombstone.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah.
So
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would pick
Great
that
movie.
Hell yeah.
for many reasons. I mean, it's historical fiction. It's amazing. I
Yeah.
just love it. Great
Totally,
cast.
man.
It always
Lots of
keep you,
quotable lines as
Right.
well.
Right?
it'd be like a comforting, like nostalgic thing to come back to when the burdens of living on.
Well, I
an
mean, I'd
island
probably
by
just kill
yourself.
myself before too long anyways, just on a deserted island fucking... You're bound to be driven mad by anything you pick, so, you know.
Yeah, it's probably.
It's fair.
At least I don't have tuberculosis. It's fine.
Right? Seriously. I got 2 coconuts. One for each of you.
Diddly dee. It's already starting and we haven't even got there yet.
What do you think, Shelby?
This is the hardest one for me to pick.
Was it?
Yes, because I don't love a ton of movies the way that you guys love some movies. So for me, it was like,
Samesies.
alright, like, what am I going to want to get out of a movie?
Yeah.
That's
And-
a smart way to look at it, though, that I
Yeah.
missed.
Right. Like, what do I want to get out of a movie? Because my original pick was Bull Durham. Which,
Interesting.
Wow.
It's a great movie.
Never
The
seen
Kevin
that.
Costner vehicle?
Yes. Yes, it is. It is a Kevin Costner movie.
Okay.
It's a wild pick.
So it's
Explain yourself.
a great movie. It doesn't
Wait,
need
she's
an
not.
explanation.
She's not picking it.
She's not making it.
Okay.
He
It was-
still wants an explanation.
It was very close, though. It was my pick up until
know
I
what the pick is.
realized what my album was. Because
So you did base your movie off of what your album
yes, because my
smart.
album,
It's
I was
smart, honestly.
originally I was going to pick an Americana album, and I was like, this will make me cry.
There you go.
And then I picked Blue Oyster Cult, and I was like, this won't make me cry. So I need a movie that's gonna make me cry, and Bull Durham is
was. Being
not a
on the
crying movie.
island's not going
I
to
know,
make you
right? I'm
fucking
already
cry.
thinking I'm there.
You need
I'm already
okay,
there.
but you need like the sympathy one where it's like you watch it or you listen to it to like compound your own sadness and it makes you cry.
Yeah, do you need compounded sadness on
Yes,
the fucking
constantly,
desolate
always,
island?
The island of
Always.
desertion? Like, I don't know about that.
Look, I'm not gonna
The
project
sand
my
has compounded
own
my soul.
issues about the island onto Shelby.
I need it
She
to
has
be
her
a
own.
perceived shared experience between me and whatever is happening, and like you know, I need something to like trigger the crying.
Okay.
Besides the desert island, sometimes I need something to remind me why I'm crying, which is
Let's
like,
all remember Shelby likes nature.
That makes
too.
sense.
I do.
Remind you why
The
you're
island
crying.
doesn't.
That
The
is
island
You need to be
doesn't
reminded
bother
of
me.
humanity. I can get that.
Yeah, the island doesn't bother me. I'm like, I'm
that.
gonna need
Oh, I'd
something.
be so bothered.
I'm gonna need something to remind me of the human relationships and the human connection that I'm missing. Because I'm like, well, this is an island and I'm in nature and it's fine.
Castaway's a weird pick.
Like,
I was gonna say.
As a joke, I was like, I
Take my
could watch Castaway's a little too real movie. I chose.
it becomes the Truman Show, and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
So my original choice was Bull Durham because it's funny and it's sentimental and it's got Susan Sarandon in it.
I do like Susan Sarandon.
Who's-
She's definitely one of my TV
Oh,
mom picks, for
top
sure.
5. She's amazing.
She's one of
and
my
it's
crushes.
and I
for
like I
that
find
fucking
baseball
matter.
to be like weirdly like nostalgic and comforting. So like I really like baseball. Bull Durham's a baseball movie, and I ended up changing it to the Darjeeling Limited because
Okay.
the Darjeeling Limited will make me cry every single
Also, that's a wild pick.
goddamn time that I watch it.
So So the one movie you get one, you know that, right? You
Yeah.
get one movie to
Yeah, I
bring
know.
to the island.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I'm
the
aware.
one that you are bringing though,
Is
Yeah.
the Wes Anderson
It's-
movie I forgot even existed.
It's a great movie. Oh my god, I cry in the first 10 minutes when
Yeah.
fucking Bill Murray misses his train. Something about that scene and the fact that he like drops all his luggage and he's like running to catch the train and it's so futile and I'm just like every time I'm like, oh, Bill Murray missed his train.
That sounds like a sketch that he needs to do immediately.
I know, but this is where I'm at as a human being, and it's just a fact about me. And
I'm
you want to
offended,
watch
and
me
these are my
cry,
feelings.
play me the first play me the Bill Murray runs after a train scene in Darjeeling Limited, and I will weep. Like,
I almost feel like that's how he wrote that movie. He's like, well, I got Bill Murray missing a train. I guess I got to fill out the rest of a movie.
that is a fair criticism, and I'm still choosing it as my movie. I knew if it wasn't going to be Bill Durham, it was going to be a Wes Anderson movie. And I love Darjeeling Limited. It's great. Makes me cry every time. It also has a baller soundtrack, which people forget about.
Wow.
Oh,
All right.
I also
I have to
realized
revisit that
when I
movie.
was grilling you
don't know
about
that
it
I've ever
that
seen
this
it.
whole time I thought you were talking about Hotel Rwanda.
Oh, shit.
Oh my god! Oh no! Oh, honey, no, that's too.
So when
That
I was
would
like,
be crazy.
Yeah.
Right?
when I
Yeah.
was like, Shelby, hold on. That whole time I was, I get
No,
movie
yeah.
swapped sometimes.
Yeah, you know what's really gonna get me
Yeah,
sad?
and I was, yeah.
African genocide.
No, I know, and I was like, holy shit, dude,
You know-
no, like, why is that your pick? I'm an idiot. I'm
Schrodinger's
sorry.
List, was up there.
Schindler's List? Wow.
Everything is
God damn
falling
it.
apart.
Schrodinger's List.
I want to see this list. I really
God
do.
damn it.
That would be
That's a
so
good list right
interesting.
there.
That's recorded
I'm very- I'm
forever.
sure there's one.
My
Has to be
boyfriend's
that.
Jewish. I'm never gonna live this shit down.
I love it. I love it.
Fuck. I'm like 4 glasses of wine in.
I can't wait
Everything's
till
just
you,
melding together.
It's all
I can't wait till
Schrodinger's
you
List.
talk about Schindler's Cat at some
Schindler's
point.
Cat.
Holy shit!
God.
My mind is totally blown.
That's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah, you
Oh,
should.
well, that's gonna fucking last forever. Alright.
Yeah, it's not good forever now.
No editing.
Nope, I'm aware of that. This is my legacy now. Fuck.
Wow.
You should rewatch Darjeeling Limited.
People
Okay,
love
I
to
will.
laugh.
And also, we should watch Bull Durham because it's stupid and funny, and
Alright.
I love it.
I think I saw that movie when I was a kid. I liked Kevin
It's
Costner.
Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
He plays baseball.
Yeah.
There's a lot of baseball jokes. It's up my alley.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I could also
yeah.
do Roadhouse.
Roadhouse also
Or
not
Die
bad.
Hard.
Oh yeah.
Dude, Die Hard's that's a good pick.
Roadhouse is basically just a Squidbillies joke, but anyway.
Alright, Ricky. What's your movie?
Okay, so anyone that knows me knows that I am obsessed with The Shining.
Oh, yeah.
Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Should have known.
So I'm
I
like,
thought of that
yeah.
one.
So I'm obsessed with it, like, more than, like, a lot of things in my life. I don't know why, but I really am just really into this movie. I do a lot of research about this movie and, like, the things involved in it.
yeah,
and,
you
like,
go deep.
I've seen it, I mean, I'm not joking, like, probably, like, over 60 to 70 times at this point. I watch it several times a year. I watch it to, like, go to sleep. So, like, this isn't even counting, like, when I didn't watch it because I was, like, sleeping to it, honestly. But, yeah, something about this movie, just everything about this movie just, like, fascinates me. But the version that I would be bringing to the desert island is specifically the original cut. So Stanley Kubrick released The Shining in the U.S. first on, I believe, Memorial Day weekend of the year that it was released, that I'm forgetting, 1980. I'm gonna double
80?
check, cause
80 or 81. That's my guess.
80.
Yeah.
1980. I should have already known that, so that's my
Tell
bad.
what he's won.
Yeah. So it was released, and within the the first week that it was released, I want to say it was Leon Vitali, who is Stanley Kubrick's right hand man, was just walking with him one day and casually mentioned that he thought that the very last scene of the movie, which was closely tied into the books where Danny Torrance and his mother in the hospital, after getting rescued from, getting out of the shitty situation that they were in. It's, a brief 2-minute scene. They, hook up with Dick Halloran, after the fact, because he... Well, no,
he would
they
be
don't,
dead.
because he would be dead. Something else happens. I'll share it in the show notes.
No, they it's the hotel, the guy who gave Jack the
it's
job.
Ullman. It's Mr. Ullman. Yeah, because he like throws Danny a tennis ball. There's like this whole thing. There's a lot of like imagery that's included in this last 2 minutes. But I've never fucking seen it because Leon Vitali tells fucking Stanley Kubrick like, hey, I don't know if that last scene was needed, but like real offhand, just was like, hey. Because he was like, hey, tell me your honest opinion. And he's like, yeah, I just, like, don't feel like this was maybe needed. And I guess Stanley Kubrick took it really fucking seriously. And he, like, put the call out to the studio to fucking contact all of the theaters that had been given a reel of The Shining and told all of the projectionists to go in and trim the fucking last scene off of the movie.
Whoa.
It had already been in theaters for a week. And...
That's crazy.
like, the call went out that, and I think there was even, like, someone driving around to, like, make sure they were doing it and shit, like, to inspect fucking reels, because Stanley Kubrick.
Kubrick's a
So,
maniac.
Is there a print that still exists?
I don't know, maybe somewhere, not that I'm aware of.
Fuck.
And then after that happened, the UK release, which came out, like, a couple of months later, Stanley Kubrick decided to cut like a good 30 minutes out of the movie.
Jesus.
Because he just decided it was unnecessary in the UK release, which he lives in the UK, so his intended release to the UK dropped another 30 minutes off, which infuriates me because the version that I'm used to is the US release, which has all these important scenes that I love in it. And the first time I encountered that cut down one, I was just infuriated. So, specifically, I want to take to the desert island, and I feel like if I can take anything, it's
Whatever you want.
I don't know if it's on DVD or anything anywhere, but I want the very original cut, including the hospital scene at the end, including all the US shit, The Shining.
Nice.
Dope.
Hell yeah.
I thought for sure you were going to pick 2112. No. Fuck.
2001?
2001.
I mean, that... I waffle between the two is my favorite
You know,
movie.
whatever. This is why I didn't get the pop culture questions right in trivia night. This is why I was like, what?
We all have our strengths, man.
Yeah.
We all have our strengths.
Yeah.
You can quote things in
Mine was
Elvish.
not pop culture, yes.
No,
not great on pop culture
my
either,
last
it's
piece on this. Part of the reason I picked this too is I feel like everyone needs a plan for how they're gonna like live out their days on Desert Island. I'm planning on going full Charlie Day, Pepe Sylvia on fucking The Shining.
Yes.
Love it.
Like, because now I have like unlimited viewings of it.
And no one's there to judge your like conspiracy theories.
And you don't have anything
Yeah,
else
so like,
to
and I
do?
just got sand and a stick, and I can just like fucking
Yep.
figure out everything, man. And
There
maybe
you go.
someday if someone found it, it would be fucking gibberish
It'd be
and
like-
not mean anything to anyone.
Or
Like-
they'll publish it in like one of those film papers
and be
where they're
like, so this
is the
crazy
best
person
This is the
fucking.
best critique and analyzation of this movie we've
Or
ever
they'd just
seen.
be like, we're pretty sure this person who died on this desert island had a lot of really important things to say about The Shining, but
They proved it.
it's just a lot of bears and
Pepe Sylvia.
And
Pepe
More
axes
when you're in that kind of
and-
psychotic, degrading. I feel like when you don't have a lot of human contact, it does
Oh.
weird stuff to you.
Yeah.
No.
For my book pick, I almost chose Lord of the Flies again to be funny, but I decided not to.
I'm like, the
was like,
guide to
that's too
surviving
real.
on an island.
Yeah,
Deserted
kind of. I mean,
island.
Oh shit. Yeah, the Army Survival Guide might have been a good book pick.
I considered something like that.
considered that too, but I thought
Yeah.
this is
Anybody
why
would
I
have
die
chosen
on the
that.
desert island. This is exactly why. Because, like, look at the garbage I'm picking.
well, you're gonna die anyways. You might as well go out on your own terms,
I
right?
could at least pick
I mean, I
Steve
also
Irwin
kind of,
is my
I
fucking
also kind
guy.
of assumed that the desert island was like a metaphor. Like you could be locked in a room forever. It doesn't have to be literally a desert island.
But also, you're not like being left without all of your knowledge of
Wait.
everything you've accumulated in your life either. So you have knowledge of survival remedially at
You'd
least.
figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So
They leave you like
I
some
mean,
rope and a
Nate-
knife and a
yeah, or,
magnifying
I mean,
glass
yeah.
and like
you can make rope.
Nate was specifically apprehensive about picking a surf album because of the implications of being next
But
to
I don't
the
know
fucking...
this until I'm in this room because he's the DM. So I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know if this is a real, literal desert island.
Yeah, I
or
mean,
if
I
this is-
meant it literally, but also
That's
you can
also
interpret that however you want.
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think the goal is to get rescued.
No.
No, I
You're
never
getting
intended
rescued.
on being
I
rescued.
think you're fucked.
No, you're never getting
in any
rescued.
capacity.
Now,
Yeah.
what if you just chose a book that had all of its pages dipped in acid, and it didn't matter which book it was?
It doesn't matter.
There you go.
That's a never-ending supply.
Yay!
You're like also the thickest book on my shelf.
Well, no. Then it does matter, and then you want Illuminatus Trilogy by Robert Anton
Yep.
Wilson.
There we go.
And I completely forgot about the idea that like the movie was your only like visual anything out of the three. It's the only visual medium that's going to be outside of
Right.
like anything else you're looking at. So like,
No.
what's the fucking weirdest like trippiest thing you can look at? What's going to be the most engaging outside of where you're at?
Yeah, I
Which did
considered some
not-
shit like that too.
I did not consider that. And
I
I
also-
picked a pretty bland looking fucking
I also really
movie.
tried to
Same.
find a movie that I liked a lot that had boobs in it because, look,
Yeah.
Right?
you know,
Okay.
it'd be nice to have a naked chick
You've got
that I could look
coconuts.
at.
We're taking
I
down to
have
the
to make your
basic
own. I
needs,
don't
you know,
know.
like that. Like that.
Yeah.
Oh god, if I had a nickel for every time we watched Excalibur just to see some boobs when we were in middle
Right?
school. Good
Can you
Lord.
imagine?
Logan's
picking,
Run was the one for me.
There you go.
Can you imagine just picking a porno?
Dude, One Night in
For
Paris,
your
let's go.
Is that a porno?
That's Paris Hilton's porno.
Is it good?
Or like her sex
Oh
tape.
my
I
god.
don't know, probably not. Can't be good.
Can't be good.
All right.
Speaking of which, though, I believe it came out this year. There's a porn parody of The Shining that involves Danny and the twins.
Oh, what? No! That is goddamn children all around. I refuse to watch that. That
I-
makes me mad.
Yeah,
Why?
I wasn't into it either.
There
It's
is a
incest,
porn.
too.
There's two
You know.
porns.
Dude,
based off of
just
Lord of the
have
Rings.
Jack fuck the chick in the...
Well,
Bathtub.
incest
It's
porn
gonna
is
be
really
weird,
big right
but-
now,
Gross.
so-
No.
Look,
also
there are
gross.
3 fucking adults available in that hotel unless you want to bring Ullman and fucking his crony along at the beginning.
Hey, but
I
you can do
mean,
some weird shit.
Jack-
with
There's
dog
the
shit if you
desk
wanted
chick.
to.
There's the desk chick that he asks where Ullman's office is. She was pretty
They're
cute.
not bringing those characters into the porn
There's Jack
parody.
and the bartender.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Actually, yeah, the bartender's
and
okay.
there's Jack and Wendy and the bartender.
Dude,
Dude,
Howard.
Jack and Wendy.
Gotta
If
get
it's
that
gonna
BBC
be
in there.
accurate, if it's gonna be an
It's gonna
accurate
be
porno,
weird.
Jack and Wendy will never fuck. It'll be
gonna
like
be
everyone
weird.
else.
There are 2 Lord of the Rings porn parodies called
Oh, I believe
Horror
it.
of the Rings and Horror of the Rings 2. And my
Clever.
old roommate got me one of them, I don't remember which one, as a Christmas present for a joke when I was like 20 or something like
Wow.
that. And I got her Harry Potter, which is a 3D porn movie.
3D.
It came with 3D
wow.
glasses.
Like the
Yes.
red blue glasses.
Yes, it came
God.
with 3D glasses. It was a gay porn, and it came with 3D glasses. We were like, we're gonna give each other porn for Christmas, and it's gonna be hilarious. So she got me
Yeah.
Horror of the Rings, I think, too, and I got her Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Dong in 3D. And it was really funny. We had a great time.
So I'm just waiting for the first like multi-million-dollar porno that does like Matrix style cuts, right? It's like the cum shot, but then it's like the freeze and
Bullet
it like
time.
pans around, you know, and like bullet times it and shit. Like, come on, dude.
I mean, it's got to be
You gotta
out
have
there.
some lame
Bullet time's been
fucking
around for a while.
not even good pun, like the Slutrix or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like not even good.
Oh god.
All right, that was rad. Those were all really fun talking points. I like that we did that too. I like the getting to know you stuff a little bit.
Oh,
But we did spend like an hour on that, so maybe we'll do one more. Maybe we'll do 2. We'll see how this goes. So I'm going to do a Klosterman question. I like to do these every episode because I've got a stack of like 60 of these. Chuck Klosterman, definitely read his books and all his shit. All right, so the question reads as such. You are close friends with a wonderful 30-year-old woman who has never been in a romantic relationship. At long last, she meets a man she seems to like and who likes her. He is 35, a successful architect, relatively attractive, and refreshingly unguarded. In fact, he is so unguarded that during the first meal you ever share with him, he stoically tells the entire table a stunning story. This is his anecdote. When I was 12 years old, I was playing with my neighbor on a railroad bridge near our home. No one else was around. We got into an argument, and I pushed him off the bridge, killing him instantly. I told everyone it was an accident, and I never got in any trouble, but I knew what I was doing. At the time, I truly wanted to kill him. Now, in retrospect, it was obviously wrong. I wish I had not killed that person. But that was 23 years ago. Little kids do crazy things. You know how it goes. The next day... Your female friend asks if she should continue pursuing this relationship. How do you advise her?
Man, I mean, like, let's put it this way. If this was on /r relationship advice,
Yeah.
it would be dump the motherfucker. Like,
DTMFA!
exactly. DTMFA all the way.
Girl, run.
Yeah, exactly.
Run!
It'd be tons of red flags, right?
Yeah.
However, kids do crazy things.
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
I tried to kill my little sister when I was like 2 because I hated her for reasons.
But
Yeah,
would
you
you
know.
tell that story cavalierly at a dinner party?
Fuck
Right.
no.
No, that's a crazy
what's
move.
the
Yeah.
red flag.
Exactly.
The red flag is the way in which this is coming up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're also considering perhaps a red flag in the fact that it, unless I'm missing a part earlier of the story, he did not ever tell anyone about this.
The first time I meet someone,
Like-
if they tell me about killing someone when they were a child and they're like, whatever,
Yep.
kids do stuff, I'm gonna be like, you know what?
Yeah.
I didn't do that shit.
Well, also, he didn't tell any parents. He didn't,
Right.
like, go through
There's no
any...
consequences.
Well,
Yeah, there's
for
nothing.
your
Pushed him
actions.
off of the bridge. How old is he?
He doesn't say.
Okay. Well,
12. No, he says 12.
Okay.
He was
well, you know what's
12?
gonna. I
Yeah.
mean, come on.
12
you
is
know
old
what's
enough.
gonna.
Yeah.
Come
12
on.
You're old
is
enough to
in
babysit
seven-
at
Like
12.
I
you
don't
know?
care
So you got
how
away
great
with
he
murder
is.
when you were 12.
It's definitely gonna make me question.
Actually, 12
and
is
you're just
a little
telling
different.
people
12
right
is
now.
Too good to be true is probably
If
at
he said
play
at
here.
6 years old, I
6
pushed
or
a
7.
kid off a bridge and he fell and he died. And I knew when I pushed him he was going to get hurt. But, like, I didn't really have a concept of death, and now I feel really weird about it.
Right.
That'd be one thing. But at 12?
Yeah.
Yeah.
12
I mean,
years old?
No.
And even if
Nope,
this
I'm
person
out.
is like kind of on the spectrum and can't like recognize that this is an inappropriate story to be telling, like
Yeah, like
at
there's
this
some
dinner
social
party, like,
stuff going on here.
Even if you set that aside, you've now heard this
Girl,
story that
run.
sounds very truthful.
Run! The bar
like,
cannot be
I-
set so low.
Is this the first?
that
Like, how long
murder
have they
is
been seeing each
acceptable?
other?
It doesn't say. They've been together for a little while, but it's the first time you meet him.
Does it ask if the girl
Wait.
would then go to the police about like
Wait.
this person?
So her friend is meeting the girl.
So your friend is dating this guy,
Okay, my friend's dating this guy.
and they've been together for a bit or whatever. Also, it's her first romantic relationship.
Okay, yep.
And he seems well put
And she's
together
30,
and
so
fine,
it's-
other than the fact that the first time you meet him, he decides to tell this story over dinner.
You know what? Sociopaths always seem well put together.
They really do.
Yeah.
They really do.
Fucking shit.
I can attest to that. I've definitely been taken by a sociopath.
Run!
Yeah.
But he's done nothing for the last 23 years.
So, how do you know that?
I
He
guess
didn't
you
tell,
don't know
He
that.
didn't
Yeah.
tell anyone about him killing his friend until just now, presumably. I mean,
Presumably,
Yeah.
like
He also
you choose this
he's also
moment.
passing off this action as like no big deal when he should be
It's very
even
serious.
if he was telling this as an adult and he was like, I did this thing when I was a kid and it was like fucked up and crazy and weird. He shouldn't be passing it off as like no big deal. He should be like, I did this thing when I was a kid and I had really no concept of what I was doing and like
At
Yeah.
didn't
12?
really realize the
that's-
consequences for my actions
You
or
can only
how
imagine what a
serious this
therapist would
was
say.
and like
Well,
fuck.
that's honestly
Fuck.
like a weird
Like-
thing you disclose like face to face right after like
Is this an
sex,
episode of Dexter?
and not just like to a dinner party.
Hey, so
you know?
I may have killed a kid when I was also a kid.
Wait, for real?
No, not me.
I thought this just took a weird turn I was not
yeah.
expecting.
We're
Speaking
actually gonna
of,
switch
we
gears
are
to
we
coming
are
down.
at this dinner party. No, but like, hey, so by the way, group of but see your reaction to that right then. Would you, if
Yeah,
I just casually right now was like, so I had this experience when I was 12. I pushed a kid off a bridge.
Well, cool. We're recording, so why don't you just go for it?
Tell me more about this.
But would you be friends with me afterwards, or would you feel weird about it?
I would feel weird, but I would
You'd
still want
feel
to
weird for a
be
minute
friends
though.
with you.
Yeah.
But
You'd be like, Shelby fucking pushed. You know what? This weird thing happened when we were recording a podcast, and like Shelby admitted to pushing a kid off a bridge when she was 12, and she said it like it was no big fucking deal. But all of us at the table were like, "That's kind of a big deal."
23 years later, it's maybe not that big of a deal.
But like, okay.
Like, you've dealt with it.
So
The
this sounds like
cavalierness
the
is
gateway
the
drug,
problem.
you know? Like, I honestly feel like...
I've had lots of bad relationships, and I can attest that this does not go well.
This is not going to end
I'm
well.
just saying, like, this is how he starts the conversation, and then eventually he'll be like, well, and you know, I mean, sometimes I take in runaways, and like,
Oh, shit.
you know,
My last girlfriend was crazy. That's how the next sentence starts.
Yeah.
Is my last girlfriend was crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, we just ended things because she was so crazy. And turns out she's totally normal and sane,
Yep.
and you're actually just a controlling
But
asshole.
then you're like, why
Or
am
maybe
I
she's
always
missing,
single?
you know?
or maybe she's missing. Shit.
Because you lead with that, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, girl, run. Run.
yeah.
Yeah, I would run.
I think we're all in agreement. She needs a GTFO.
Weirdly enough, I'm not. I sort of, like, forgive people for
Murder?
things people do when they were children. It wasn't intentional.
He
Well-
said it was
Pushed him
intentional.
off.
The
12
pushing
years
was
old.
intentional. The killing wasn't.
But he said...
He did say that in the moment he wanted to
He
kill
just
him.
said he knew
then that
what
makes
he had
it
done.
intentional.
Right, but like
I knew I wanted to kill this
I've wanted
kid.
to kill
So
people.
yeah, but you didn't.
I didn't, but maybe I swing a bat at him and like.
Did you swing a bat at a kid?
No, but
That's
like.
because you're not a fucking murderer.
Yeah.
But like, if I had a bat in my hand,
I've wanted to
during
kill lots
certain
of people, but like I
instances?
fucking haven't.
I don't know.
And
Yeah.
I've lived in the country where hiding a body would probably be easy. Like,
I think with it in context is like, he's a little too good to be like true, you know?
yeah.
And
He's got himself
We've got
all
motive,
polished
we've
up.
got
Yeah.
intent,
yeah,
like we've
And
got all the things.
you're telling your best friend you're having dinner with your best friend and you're like, this is the guy,
I mean, maybe
and
I don't
she's
go
bringing him
hiking
to the
with the
table.
guy.
As a woman, I'm telling you, this is what's happening. She's bringing him to the table to
Right.
be like, what are your fucking thoughts? Like, I'm really digging this guy, but like, presumably this is the first time she's hearing this too, though, because like,
As a woman, I would be like,
Because she would
run.
be out of there, right?
yeah, dude, like, I don't know.
As
Yeah.
a woman,
I would say run.
I say run.
Yeah.
Like, there's too much at risk here.
There's too many
He's
variables
bigger than you,
for me.
he's stronger than you. He is going to isolate you from your friends if he is this controlling asshole. And by that time, it's too fucking late because he's a controlling asshole.
Oh, and this is her
Grooming,
first
that's what that
relationship,
He's grooming
so
it.
she maybe
He's-
doesn't have the
He's
skills to
passing
like.
this off as normal when it's
Well,
not
she doesn't have any
normal.
frame of reference. It's
Yeah.
their first relationship.
Exactly. Yeah.
Run!
Yeah, no, you're all probably right.
I like the devil's advocate.
I like to believe in redemption.
Being the mom of a teenage girl.
Well, me too,
I've said
which
run.
is why I was
No, no,
like,
Yeah.
if he had come at it. So again, my red flag is not that this happened. My red flag is the way in which he's conversing about it as an adult who has a concept of consequences for his actions.
Right.
Right? So like, if you are a kid and you fuck up because you have no consequences for your actions yet because your brain doesn't mature until you're like 25, like. And then as a 30-year-old,
Except
you're
when you're
like,
a kid, everything's consequences. So like
right.
everything I did when I was a kid, I lied and tried to get out of it.
Sure.
Because like for me, like any consequence was world ending.
Yes,
Right?
but
sure.
as a 30-year-old, when you're talking about those experiences, if you had done something really bad, like kill a person bad,
Right.
and not like I got in trouble and I went to jail bad, that's only consequences for you. Like, this is he had no consequences.
He's being pretty cavalier about.
He had no
Yeah.
consequences for himself as an individual, and that's the
definitely
point of
seemed
this
that way.
story. He's all the consequences happened to this other person who he literally pushed off a bridge. So like
Intentionally, yeah.
intentionally, like not even like we were fucking around and wrestling, and he fell and hit his head on a rock.
Let's
That
just
would
be
be
honest.
completely
I've told my
different. That'd be
girlfriends to
different.
run for way lesser
Same.
reasons.
Like if
Yeah, if the only question
as a
here is, does she
30-year-old
run? Yes, she
yes,
must
she
fucking
runs.
run.
Yeah.
As a 30-year-old talking about that in retrospect, you should be like devastated about that part of your past because you killed a child.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Even if it was unintentional, you should be, when you bring it up to people who you're dating, in case they find this out about you by some fucking miracle, just be like, you should be coming at it from an attitude of, like, I did this really fucked up thing, and I feel really bad about it. And I didn't realize the consequences for my actions at the time, and I didn't realize how permanent death was, and I didn't realize this and this and that. But, like,
And not
I
do
did
in
it,
front of a crowd of
and I
people.
was
Personally-
mad, and I did it, and, like...
That concept of death kind of happens really young. I don't know, like, as a 30, I mean, I'm gonna almost 35. You got, I mean, everyone here is around the same age, and, like, I feel like when I was 12, I definitely had a firm understanding on what death was.
I was DMing.
sure.
Like,
I mean, come
definitely
on.
knew
Like,
that.
video games were peaking. Like, there's just, I mean, there was a lot of death in movies still. Like, I just...
Right.
I mean, my daughter was asking about death at, like,
This
freaking
is
6
like,
years
this
old.
is like
So,
pure
come
benefit
on.
of the doubt, right? Like,
Yeah.
benefit of the doubt, you were an ignorant 12-year-old who
Benefit of the
didn't
doubt
really
gets you killed.
understand. Like,
Yeah.
you should still be
Sometimes.
bringing it up. You shouldn't be bringing it up in casual
No.
dinner party
No,
conversation.
not
That is a
first
whack
time.
move.
I'm
I'm
fucking
just-
you're meeting somebody.
I'm saying that
your
the-
best friend for no. I mean, sorry.
I'm saying the ultimate question of the card shouldn't be should you talk this friend out of the relationship. It should be should you like warn the police about like
Yes.
Yes,
crazy
you should.
guy, dude.
Yes.
Well, I saw a meme the other day. Okay, and I hate to interject with a meme, but I'm just gonna say that it's like you get kind of pissed off at your friend because like when they're dating an idiot or a fucking killer, because
yeah.
you're like you're bringing them into my fucking life too.
So many red
Yeah.
flags, dude.
Right.
So
Like for me, I'm out. Like you need to make a choice right now. You
Pro
know?
tip for anyone
saying,
out
just
there:
saying.
if your significant other admits to a federal crime, you should super go to the police, depending on what that crime is.
That's debatable.
If their
yes,
if your
it's murder,
significant
yes.
other admits to
Statute of
murder,
limitations
Federal
on
crimes
child
is debatable.
murder,
Well, yeah.
kidnapping, or
But
child
child
pornography
pornography.
or endangerment, take their ass to the police.
But child by child murder?
Still, yes.
It also seems like it was a little bit of an accident. Like, yeah, he was angry enough
He
to...
says
That's not an
intention
accident.
to.
It sounds intentional as fuck.
It
dude.
says he intends it.
I've been
to
angry
happen.
enough to kill people.
It literally
We've
says,
all been angry
I knew
enough
what
to
I was
kill people,
doing.
but we
you didn't
didn't.
kill
Yeah.
people. That's the difference.
But if I
You didn't
accidentally
kill
could've.
people.
But
But he
I
did it, but
accidentally
it
could've.
wasn't an
Okay, it says
accident.
we
Wasn't
got
an
into an
accident.
argument
Though.
and I pushed him off the bridge, killing him instantly. I told everyone it was an accident and I never got in trouble, but I knew what I was doing.
It wasn't an
So
accident.
That well, it was a crime of
But it
passion.
It was a crime of passion at
Yes,
best.
but he knew what he was doing. And he
says
never said
knows what
anything
he was
until
doing.
right now. That's
Nah, you're probably right.
suspect.
No, the wording on this does not
Like, I'm-
help me defend this
I'm
person.
not-
No, not at all.
I'm not saying that the statute of limitations allows for this to even be incriminating
Yeah.
any longer, but this is still a fresh crime in my fucking mind, and like, no, best friend,
What if-
no Shelby best friend, do not date this
Right.
guy any longer.
Dude, you didn't
know,
want
like,
me to
dude,
date. You didn't
I
want
would
me.
not.
You
fucking
didn't want me
let
to date a couple of the people I dated, and they had done way fucking less than
Lesser
this.
crime.
Oh yeah, Lucas was
Blacklisted.
way
Yeah.
less shitty than
Lucas
this,
was way
and
less
I
shitty
fucking
than
hated
this.
him.
Yeah. Lucas didn't kill
Yes.
anyone. He just was fucking boring and shitty, and you were still like,
That's
you know
why I
what?
hated him.
You know what? Dump
He
him.
could have maybe killed someone. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yep.
All right,
I think
what-
we got a DTMFA.
Yeah, okay. Just quick aside, what if you're 55? What if this is like 43 years removed?
The answer remains the same.
Really?
Yep.
I think a pattern, if you've gone 43 years after
Well, how many
this
more
incident,
secrets is he gonna,
Yeah,
unearth
this is just
over the
one
course of your
secret.
I
relationship?
suppose that's true.
How long has he
wait,
been killing
Also,
people?
also, here's another thing that we haven't talked about. Why is this seemingly perfect man single at fucking 32 or 55?
Fucking
Indeed.
people die, Shelby.
People die. Okay, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Is
when they're
there-
murdered.
Is there a reason that
Yeah, look,
he's single?
people go on hikes. Fucking
Fucking
Sometimes
shit
the
they-
girl you're dating falls off a cliff.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I would immediately be like, why is he single? Is he single because he was in a relationship up until recently and they broke
No,
up and
you're
there's
right.
a reason for it? Or is he single because he's a fucking creeper and
Yeah.
like he's consistently single until the woman he's dating wises up and is like, you're fucking creepy and breaks up with him?
Nah, y'all are dead right. All right.
We have to
Case
be
closed on that
we
one.
have to be dead right.
You need a
Otherwise
gavel.
people will
I know, right?
kill us.
All right, I rule in favor of
I mean,
everyone.
this is kind of a gavel, but you don't want to gamble with
Yeah.
that. Gamble.
Nope.
Yeah.
No gambling with the
All
gavel.
right.
Another point, but I don't remember it.
Okay, cool. Then I have a final question because that did go quick.
Yeah.
So I recently started watching this show on Netflix called Living with Yourself, and it's got Paul Rudd in it, and the plot of the movie is that he is kind of this dude who's just like in a rut in his life, like his marriage is kind of going sour, his job sucks, and he gets recommended to go to this spa, and it's just like it'll change your mind, and it's like $20,000 or something, but he just like goes and does it. He's like, fuck it, I need anything. He goes and does it, and what it turns out to be is that they clone you and they implant your memories and they kill the original you. So your clone then just takes your place and goes through their life. But that's why everyone feels better, is because they have your memories, but they also have this sense of like renewal because they're brand new. Like they can't put their finger on it because they're not told that that's what's happening, but they're a clone. And like they basically wake up and they're just like, fuck dude, everyth's fresh. Like the air is great.
What's
like
the catch?
The catch is that they kill the original you.
Yeah.
And so this show is the original him. He wakes up. He doesn't die.
Right.
And he like wakes up in a shallow grave and like crawls out of this shallow grave.
Like, they don't just completely make sure this person's annihilated?
Well,
well,
they just kill him and bury him.
For the purposes of this show, they do not. He wakes up in this shallow grave, fucking goes home.
Unsure
Shallow.
exactly
Not even
what's
6
going-
feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then finds himself, this clone, there. And then they kind of hash it out. They go back to this spa, and then they admit everything. They're like, well, this is our process. Technically, this guy's the clone. You're the real you. Yeah. And so the clone is, because they're renewed and they're just feeling better, they're the better version of yourself, right? And so then the show goes from there. But that's... Anyway, so that's the premise of the show. My question is, if you are made aware that you are a clone of yourself, how do you reconcile your life? Meaning, can you just walk away because the real you, the original you, is already inhabiting your whole life, but you feel like you're that person, you have all the memories, right? And then would you attempt to make some sort of deal with the original you to hold on to some piece of your life? So,
So the original me is not dead in your scenario.
Exactly. So you basically...
And still is in
So
love
you're basically
with
you,
your
So-
boyfriend
younger,
who is
but with the same,
better
with all the wisdom of
Shelby.
today.
Yeah.
No. So not even younger. So literally in this moment right now...
But like feeling like your body is rejuvenated as if it were young, you're free of disease
New
or
cells.
ails or
Right.
new
so
everything.
You feel great. You have all of your memories. You even remember kind of being in
feel
this
great
rut.
though, but are you great?
You are, in a way. So, like, you remember going to a spa, getting a treatment, walking out feeling renewed and refreshed. However...
And then dirty you comes walking in the door.
So, in this moment right now... Yeah, dirty you.
Because you crawled out of a grave.
Yeah.
But also you have
Yeah,
Also-
comes in, walks in, tells you that you are merely a clone, and you basically
so old
don't
you
have
retains
your
the
life.
memories also. Old you is still old you.
Old you, still old you. Yeah. And
Old you still in love with your husband who's now with new you.
But new you would also be in love with your husband who's
Exactly.
with you.
Right.
Dude, this is so
But
like a book I
like-
just read.
so if you're new
Nice.
you, I mean, you feel the love for your significant other. You believe that you like should go to your job every day. You live in your life, but you're told that that's not your life because you're a clone.
And
How do you-
only one of you gets the husband, so like it's the better you because that was their plan all along. You're the fucking aftermath who shouldn't have maybe
But not
even
necessarily.
been here.
Like
Right.
in the show,
In the show you weren't supposed
the
to be
clone
here.
sort of gives the life back to the original because he's like, okay, well, I'm the clone. I need to walk away. He doesn't exactly walk away, but that's kind of the idea. Is like, what do you do? Like, do you walk away and be like, do you give that life to the dirty you and be like, well,
So this is what
Like,
happened.
I am the
Work out.
clone,
It didn't
like-
work out correctly.
I recognize I'm a
Yeah.
clone, but I have all these emotions and I have all these memories. Like, for all intents and purposes, I'm the same as dirty you,
But better.
So
but better, or I
this is
feel
definitely
better in the now.
sci-fi-ish.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
it's a
You've
Black Mirror
created
shit,
a
for
multiple
sure.
you. Therefore, you've created infinite yous.
Well, at least
In theory.
So far, only one.
at least
Only
at least,
one.
yeah.
But I was thinking, like, this totally reminds me of a book I read, and it was like, this guy was working on cloning and time travel and stuff, and then all of a sudden he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go and be this version of me that I skipped out on or whatever. And then all of a sudden he has, like, these hymns just coming after him, all
Right.
trying to want the same thing.
Oh, sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm
That
just like,
sounds very specific to time travel, not specific to cloning.
So it's just...
But that would definitely
Dude, it was...
send
yeah,
a wrinkle
it was
in the works.
crazy. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Michael Keaton vehicle Multiplicity.
Right.
gets into this
Exactly,
because the
exactly,
clones start
yeah.
making copies of themselves.
Right.
And
Yeah,
they just keep
you definitely
getting less
get a
and
cap
less.
for
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you'd have to build the Citadel of Ricks eventually. You know?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
So really the question though is, what do you do if you're faced with this with this knowledge now?
I've had this worked out for a long time. So
Yeah? All right. Take us
well,
away.
I mean, you can't run a cult if you don't know what to
Right?
do.
Yeah, how do we work this in?
So I just I'm right. I mean, like if I had infinite me's, like cult overnight.
Oh,
Clearly.
easy.
But no, so I don't know exactly how old I was when I realized I needed to have a clone plan, but
What?
I just I'm
Wait, this has been cultivated for...
Matthew!
like, yeah, no, I mean like I've had this shit boilerplated for a
Oh
long
my
time.
God, of
Continue.
course.
So, I definitely know it was concretized when I read Altered Carbon, because one of the things that they do to torture people in Altered Carbon is put you into a virtuality with a copy of yourself,
Jesus Christ.
and so you're in this virtuality which is like sped up way past normal time speed. So like you subjectively you're in there for like a week and it's been an hour, and so yeah, it makes some people go crazy because they're just stuck in this infinite space with themselves. So I was like, well, we clearly have to develop a workaround for this, because if anyone ever does this to us, like, we want to know our way out. And so, I've made an agreement with myself that if I ever encounter myself, we wordlessly give each other the best fucking 69 blowjobs you've ever fucking seen.
I knew it was going to come back to this.
Yep. And then, we form a pact to, like, live one life half time.
Yeah. No, now see, and this is interesting because everyone at this table has a partner, significant other.
Right.
You're the bachelor at the
I'm a
table.
lone wolf. It's true.
So, I would definitely just team up with my clone and be like, how do we fuck this duck, right?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
let's just, double action. Let's figure this out,
Right?
dude.
Because, I mean, like, there's the classic dilemma of, like, would you fucking fight your clone? Would you try to kill it? I'm like,
Right.
hell no, I got two me's. Like, let's just work out a plan, dude. Like,
No, there's the classic Cracked article, the fight or fuck response.
Yep.
And it's like, with enough time in
What
a
about
room.
juice?
yeah, exactly.
Well, the idea is with enough time in a room with your clone, you're either going to fight it or fuck it.
Exactly.
And, what do you do?
And I chose fuck. So,
What about truce? What about
well, and yeah, like we
talk
we,
about The Shining
I mean,
at like
fucking
for
feels like a
3
truce.
hours?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look.
I mean, like it's
Fallen
really
on any other level.
it's
I
fucking
never
great.
even
Like,
know.
one of us goes to
Chili
work every other day, and like the other one fucking kicks it,
And then switch.
Yeah.
And you make so much money, you could work like so many hours
Yeah,
technically
exactly.
at like regular fucking intervals.
Right? Shit, we could even
Make
pick
so
up two
much
jobs
money.
for a little while.
So
if we had
does
to.
the
Never get
memories
sick of yourself,
transfer
'cause
since
you're always
you guys
stuck
are
with yourself
both
anyway.
alive? Okay, so
So the
in
memories-
that sense, if you're like, okay, I'm gonna like switch off in my position, like, would you know
So
that
the
it was
memories
me?
deviate
Right.
at the moment of cloning, right? So the implanted memories are the same.
Yeah, you'd always have to compare notes.
But once
You know.
once
Yeah.
the clone is functioning in the world, then the memories start to deviate, and
Okay.
everything starts to
Right.
deviate. Your
Okay.
personalities deviate.
we probably have to
everything.
make up some kind of a cover story, like, oh, I had a head injury and I don't remember things so great now. So but
mean-
like it's totally doable.
As soon as the single person knows they're
God,
dealing with
the
two
money you can
persons, I think that you come up with like a safe word
Yep,
that like is a password.
absolutely. Cacao,
Yeah, a password that like each of you only know, and that way you can verify like who you're talking to.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise,
Right. Yeah, otherwise
I'm
other
just saying,
clones coming in.
we would get up to
situation.
all kinds of weird shit. It would be great.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You just buddy comedy your way through the rest of life.
Exactly.
You know?
I'm saying.
Dude, we'd always have an extra person for draft. It'd be great.
Be the fucking tits, dude. I've been praying for a clone for a long time.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
No,
Of course, yeah.
Where are we actually at here?
I mean, the 69 says it
anyone
all.
who wants to chime in at this point.
I mean, for me, it would, and this sounds stupid, but it's true. It would entirely depend on who Matt wanted to date.
Yeah, you give
How
him
you
the choice.
reconcile.
Yeah, if Matt wanted to date.
Do you want dirty me?
Do you want dirty old me?
Aren't you
Dirty
guys
old
already
worn out
like
me.
somewhat poly? Why would he not just
Well, and,
date
like,
both of you?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
but
what I'm
like,
saying,
I
like,
mean,
what could be
we
better
are,
than
we
two
are,
Shelbys?
but like also like the person you want to share your life with, like the person you want to share your bed
Your
with, and
partner.
your finances, and your
Dude,
partner, and like
I didn't even
marriage.
consider that. It's just like, fuck, dude, threesomes every night, both of you.
Threesomes all the time. Yeah, sure.
Four
yeah,
titties, how
sure.
can I
Of
lose?
course,
The thing is,
yes,
but
but
the
like,
thing is, both are.
You both
Shelby
know what I like.
Both Shelby. Both
And I know what I like, so.
yeah, both are Shelby.
So both are Shelby. Both have, according to the show, both have your same bank account.
Yes.
Both have. I mean,
It
because you have
would-
all of the same information.
would
so
depend
you
on-
aren't actually two different people as far as
That's
the
true.
government's concerned. So you wouldn't
This is
necessarily have to like pick.
I know, and I don't think I would, because I think me as a I'm the more polyamorous of the two of us. Let's be honest. And
So two of you isn't like
two of me are like whatever, whatever you want to do. Like,
Tell you what you gotta
take your time, because like we get it. This is weird. Neither of I'm not jealous as like a general thing. So I think it would literally kind of depend on Matt, who became the like primary Shelby and who became the like secondary Shelby.
Shelby Prime.
Quote unquote.
Shelby Prime, dirty Shelby.
Shelby Prime and dirty Shelby.
Can I be the host at this TV show? of, like,
1,000% yes.
What's the
Who's the
70s
dirty
show?
Shelby?
It's the version of The Bachelor that's early. Oh man, no one's gonna guess.
Just some like dating,
Like a 70s
dating game or whatever.
But I mean, maybe it was just dating game. But when it was like Bachelor #1 or Bachelor,
that's
Yeah, dating game.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep, you could do that, and I would be down for that, and that would be hilarious, because ultimately, me and Shelby Prime, or am I dirty Shelby?
Well, that all depends.
I'm the
No.
original.
Oh, for this,
Shelby.
That's, you guys
for
have
the
to
purpose
just.
of this story, you are the clone. So
I'm
you're
the
the
clone,
clone.
so I'm Shelby 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shelby too. Yeah.
Okay, I'm Shelby
And that's
2.0.
why you have the compassion to let him choose.
Okay, I feel like, honestly, Matt would choose Shelby 2.0 because she'd be better with chores.
She'd be a virgin technically.
No, that doesn't do it.
Oh.
Also true. Question he asks you
Also true, but that has nothing to do with
So my
that.
question
He's
does
not
ring
worried
true
about
that
that.
you're reset to your
Yeah.
natural
Matt
health
would be
and,
like, you're better
Okay.
at choring.
Yeah.
You can do your own personal
Wait,
chores.
question
as
though.
well
You
as work.
still only get a limited number of questions. Is that really one of the questions that comes up for Matt? Is like, okay, Shelby 1. If we noticed the house was getting kind of dusty, what would you do?
What do
So
you
he's
ask?
auditioning
Shelby
then?
2.
Wait, is
Shelby
he
2,
just
what would
sliding the
you do?
application across the table?
That's
I
what
don't know.
I considered doing that
Dusty is the answer.
When I
but
was
he
doing
would be
Tinder.
like, you take off your clothes for the
Oh,
day,
that's
and then
amazing.
you have two options of where to put them. Do you put them in the laundry basket, or do you put them on the floor? This would be a question that he would ask, and I, as dirty Shelby, would answer wherever I happen to be standing.
You'd probably answer, where's the
better
chair that I put
version-
them on, though?
A better version of myself would be like, I put them in the basket, obviously, and he'd be like, you're the one I'm in love with.
Well, they're only choosing that because they're competing for to hold on to their life, right?
Yeah,
You know?
sure, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's House of Shelby's. Like,
No, you don't have to hold on to your life.
Shelby
You
all
just
the
have to,
time.
like, get get it different.
I'm just
I think.
saying.
It's not like you die.
It would kind of be
No,
up to
no, no,
Matt.
but I mean, but the
whichever
life
one
that
he
you
was
know.
in love with.
Right,
I'd be
that's
like,
Why does he have to choose though? Can't he just like?
no, he doesn't have to. I'm
Why do you have
just
to put
saying.
this brunt on your significant
He
other?
doesn't have to.
It's just one man. You're two.
I'm open to it being neither, but like, or both, whatever. But it would kind of be on him because, like, I'm polyamorous and it's my
So would you
clone,
kill the
and,
other
like,
one, or, like, what would you
no,
do?
whatever.
Marry, fuck, kill. Marry, fuck,
Wait,
kill.
we were vehemently against murder in the last round.
I
so
wouldn't,
let's just
I wouldn't
cross the
kill my
lines here.
clone. I'd probably like split our job 50-50 and like make art 50-50 if we without the relationship question. I'd be like, you go to work 2 days a week and I'll go to work 3 days a week, and then we'll switch off and we'll both make our own art.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
like we'll
And
get
get a
our
king
shit
size
done.
mattress and
Get a king size
threesomes every
mattress and like you know whatever.
Oh, yeah,
It'll be
so
fun.
I haven't gone yet. Just throwing it out there.
I do, yeah,
Me either.
I will let you go in just a second. I do think that this question does get a little more interesting because
There's
in
so
the
many
context of the
variables.
show, it's a very monogamous thing.
Right.
And when you get people who aren't,
Yep.
then it's just like, fuck it, dude.
Whatever.
Let my clone fuck my wife. I don't care.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm like, if Matt wants to fuck my clone, I don't give a shit.
It's basically
It's
me.
basically me.
Right.
And like, if he wants to date my clone, that's also fine, but I gotta know. Just like, tell me.
Yeah.
Well, I've always stood true. I mean, like, to be honest, I haven't really got along with a lot of Aquarian females, which is what I am. And, like, I don't really think I would like me that much, to be honest. Like, I've like said, like, I wish I had clones of myself so I could just, like, have a shot full of me's. But, like,
No, I definitely also
I
think
just
that I
really
would get
hate
on my
me, I
nerves.
think.
I
would
don't
get on
think
my
I'd
nerves.
buddy up with myself
I don't
very
know.
well.
Yeah,
I think I'd
think
just
I
be like,
would.
oh, God,
I don't
dude,
think I
fucking,
would.
You're doing this again? And they'd be like, yeah, because of you, because that's what
And
we
my
do. And
my
I'd be
family
like,
definitely would
"Ugh."
not want another me, that's for sure. My daughter's like, no, fuck that.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. So I would truthfully probably immediately fucking like both of us would come to you and be like, so hey, this happened.
You'd get together with your...
Oh, and like come to you immediately and be like, so we have to like figure this out. Because like
Yeah.
I would
You
want to
are
come to an
married.
agreement with myself and you and figure out. I mean, it feels on paper like a 50-50 split might be cool, but that could get tricky if you end up liking one of me more than the other, and then you have to break up with part of me.
Well, that's the problem.
It could get weird because you
Because
can't
the newer
guarantee.
you's the better you.
So you might
So-
like
Exactly.
that me more, and
I like almost
event-
guaranteed.
Matt will for
Yeah.
sure
That's the
like
problem.
that me more.
Oh God! I mean, you're being really tough right here on fucking. You could at least like.
You'd like the better me, too.
Yeah, but it wouldn't fucking be so
You don't gotta throw it in her
handy
face.
about it. And
Shit,
fucking
sorry.
Nate, god damn it.
podcast.
Girl,
Well,
Jesus.
if it happens to both of you, then like,
run.
So yeah, all Nate
Yeah.
wants
Dirty-
for
dirty use
Christmas is
could
a
just
better
be-
Ricky. So
Whatever.
that's been made clear.
All Matt wants is a better me. So we can break up, they can date each other, and you and I'll date.
I'm fine with that. Dude, fuck, yeah.
I love how everybody just brought it to sex. Like, boom, right off.
I mean, that's
Well,
a lot
it's-
of what it comes down
It really,
to.
I mean, like that cracked article is not wrong. You just get down to the fuck or fight.
I mean, that's a
Time
basic
with your
human
clone, you know?
instinct.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
question that a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess if
I really do.
to finish that, it would really depend on like what we like decided on. I mean, like, yeah, it's so hard to think about the idea of like if I was the clone and like had to just fuck off. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, like I don't actually know how I'd reconcile
No,
that.
right?
I mean,
Still, like, fuck, dude.
it's not like I have a
don't
bunch
think I
of
wanna
money to
share
just
my life
fuck
with my
off to the
clone.
UK
Well, yeah,
or something.
I'm actually
or, like,
starting
fuck
to
off
think
to anywhere.
I might go Tyler Durden with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like one of me just like fucks off to Southeast Asia, like establishes the psychedelics cult that we've always wanted to form.
There we go.
And then I just come visit and like, you know, he goes back here to fucking recharge or whatever.
And that's like the
compare
parlor
notes.
tricks to convince the cult followers, right?
Exactly.
He's like, once every X years, I fucking manifest a copy of myself and
Yep.
you show up and you're like,
Yep. Like, I don't even remember what's happened for the last 6 months.
yeah. No, it'd be tough. I don't know, man. Because, I don't think I'd want to share my life with another me. Maybe I would. Maybe we'd just play fucking Lord of the Risk all the time and I'd
More
just
than
be
one me, I
thrilled.
think
I
would be
would
That's what I'm
share
talking about. Like,
parts of
local
my life.
multiplayer video games would just be fucking
Right?
sick as hell, dude.
Yeah.
More than one me would be too intense. Seriously, for
More
like
than
the
one
for
me
like
might
the
be
people,
too intense for him, honestly.
yeah, the
and
people
I'm
that are
willing
closest
accept
to
that.
me,
Yeah.
who have been closest to me. You know, I don't know. It
think even the
it would
most
be too
low-key-
much for me to even like. And like I was commenting earlier about how like I haven't read like a lot of like these existential books that like they're like lifelong. Where you should read these things in your lifetime.
Sure.
But like I'm always on that level inside. It's so crazy to even think
Yeah.
about like meeting somebody who's on that same level as me. In me, I can't even. It's like, I'm always on, like, I'm just like, I don't know, I would be highly suspect, and I don't think I would like me very much. I don't know, it's weird.
I mean, like, I've definitely thought about this too. Like,
It's weird.
I have probably like some kind of depression, anxiety, fucking issues that are gone undiagnosed, and so
It's like the ultimate ego, like, in the mirror. It's
Well, if
just,
you
like,
end up on
better than
different
any drug you
cycles-
ever did, I would assume. Unless you were already a twin, like, you can't even fucking fathom what that would be like,
Right. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, if one of you's bummed out and the other one's not, like, it could get obnoxious.
No, and that would be a problem because, I mean, and again in the show, the 2.0, I mean, is just thrilled with life. He's just like, hell yeah, I fucking love everything, and the other dude's still just bummed all the time.
Yeah.
Because he's in a rut and stuff. So that, and that creates the narrative for the show.
So he doesn't inherit your neuroses.
Well, and that's the thing, like, how long does it take before your clone, like, kind of falls into your rut? Because,
Right.
the newness wears off. The new car smell wears off eventually, right? And I don't know how long that takes. Maybe a year, maybe 5. I don't know.
Sure.
But eventually it will, and you both probably sort of start weaving the same path. But yeah, it would be really fucking annoying hanging out with just the better me. It would be fucking annoying,
Yeah.
dude. Just like, oh, good for you. Good for you that you're fucking all renewed and
But
rejuvenated.
this is also like a question of like you looking at yourself.
But then maybe like the new me being like a cool person would look out for the old me and be like, dude, let's get you massages. Let's
Right.
get you taken care. Let's get you up to my speed,
Yep.
you know?
Get on
Would
my
Do you
Blow
get
yourself.
yourself massages though?
Nope.
You didn't blow yourself.
So
I wouldn't.
it wouldn't be up to your speed. You don't do that for yourself.
Me
so
and-
why would you
and
do
me
Well,
that?
and
because you'd
somebody are
probably
so
have to
very
do
straight.
both. Like, both, I mean,
Yeah.
you'd only get one of you to agree to it if the other one would be willing to reciprocate, because otherwise it's not fair,
Maybe a
right?
Dutch rudder just to like figure it out.
I would definitely give myself a massage because I used to be a massage therapist.
There you go.
And I never found somebody that could do it as good as I could do it to myself, probably. I mean, as then I was
I have absolutely no shame in eating myself
Yeah,
out.
I would
Absolutely
Yeah,
none.
I would be
that would
pretty
definitely
fucking wild and crazy.
Yeah, why? I
Yeah.
mean, it's like masturbation to the level that you would absolutely be fine with if it were currently available to you, but it's not, so it seems weird.
Honestly, the
But, like,
issue is
look,
just
like
that-
if it were just actual masturbation, like it was just manual fucking masturbation, it wouldn't be weird.
I'm just saying, like, the real issue for me is, like, how long it would be before I came up for air, you know? Like, it would be a while.
Dude, yeah.
So the Matthew buddy cop movie with your clone is going to be like half.
He's
porn.
just become a circus sideshow
Well,
actor.
there's
just for
just
minutes
porn
at a
parody
time.
of
Just
it.
like,
That would
oh,
just
right,
be
right,
like,
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, we just porn parody that shit. All right,
Absolutely.
yeah, we figured it out. All right, I love it. I'm gonna call it because boy, this is a long one.
Lengthy.
But I love getting you in, Kimberly. Thank
Oh,
you
yeah.
for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
for
Do
being
it
here.
again
Yes.
for sure. And yeah,
great.
thanks everyone for listening and stuff.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Mm.